Yeah, next Thursday.
You're so very welcome.
Okay.
I know what the concrete bid was and all that.
Yeah, but it's not like.
But that's just for the new farm.
That's where you look at it. I don't know a lot about it. It's about. Mental health, it's a company that's transport. And you made it free.
Okay, so we need to put this out in the road.
Yeah, so that's version 1, right?
Spread it out.
We
Yes,
don't need,
yeah.
we don't need
So,
that.
yeah, that's what it is, so that's it. Wait, can you slide that?
Oh, here was Jerry. He is here. I have for you. The highway. Last year, they did J.
Well, that's my concern. I asked them,
Well, this year I really.
how far north is that? And they, are you up a lot with that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, and I mean, we're on like 2 or 3 inches twice, you know, I mean, they did a job, but no, we got cracks like this wide.
There's a lot of comments like that.
What's this over? Goes up over the road going for you. Well, a little bit, but there's.
Okay.
It isn't fit, it isn't a night, it isn't a fit night for man or woman. My daycare lady got that for me, because they were watching.
Watch what you hit,
Yeah. I need it. That's why I actually come here. That's why I come here.
Yes, yes.
They were watching the claymation. I haven't read it. And Brooklyn's one Yukon came up, so. I'm like, thanks.
That girl with the mustache.
I know. Get some real showers.
So anyway, I see there are a lot of meetings on.
Hey,
So the business is, meeting minutes, I don't know.
please.
Is Jerry saying like, Phil, give the minutes, and then discussion on? If not, all those in favor say great
According to the copy, yes.
Yeah, Jeremy. He's finished. Jeremy, would you like to go first?
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How are you guys?
Pretty good.
You can call the meeting to order. I'm sorry. No, I don't need anything. I just got it. This is like my favorite Rusk County property committee.
Favorite one, huh?
Yeah, my favorite one.
Out of all the property.
Out of all the property committees in Rusk County. So really super simple on the agenda, and I appreciate you taking me in this process. So we had an invoice that was down at the senior center. Inside the back door, we have a cooler that, the compressor needed to be replaced. So I called Mr. Hauser about 3 weeks ago and I said, hey, we have funding for this in our meals program. The compressor needs to be replaced. It was like $1,900, okay? So what it got us talking about at the same time is to get the approval to pay that out of our funds, because it's over $1,000. But to talk about the process, is that generally speaking, Gary and his squad will respond when there is a piece of equipment that's not working. And as a result, then we would say, they would do like an evaluation, and we're very thankful that they'll come down and give it a look. And then from there, then it's cost analysis, what's it gonna take to fix it? Okay? And then we determine if it needs to go to an approved provider with the county, or if they can fix it. And so we just wanna keep that process going, and it really then is the transparency between Gary, our staff at the senior center, and then Kathy Walters overseeing the process. So I just needed to tell you that that's still the process, because I hate having to call Mr. Hauser and say, hey, by the way, we got $1,900 worth of cost. We think it's appropriate, but sometimes there might be an opportunity where it's not appropriate to fix it because of the age of the equipment. And so we wanna do that analysis before we launch any project. So that simply is that. Like I said, the invoice was $1,910.51. And that was through Ladysmith Heating, and we're up and running, and like I said, it's a big old 3-door cooler that we got in 2016. So it's a big deal to us. That houses a lot of our story. So,
Alright, the motion by Jerry to approve that.
yeah, $1,901.51.
Second.
Second by Jerry. Any more discussion on it? If not, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You guys are the greatest.
Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah, that was an easy one. So do we wanna talk about the other thing, the county car?
Sure.
So, if you guys are okay about this. So, this came about as our Children and Family Services oftentimes, intermittently, has to transport sibling groups that consist of lately, like 4 kiddos under the age of 10, or a sibling group of 5 that is under the age of 12, okay? And so, in our county cars, it's very difficult to get car seats and that many, so sometimes we end up doing 2 trips. And so Jamie and I started talking, and Jamie's like, I got all kinds of plans, we can figure this out. And so, the Meals program has a Kia Sedona, okay? It's got a 3rd row seat, I think it's actually in maintenance, probably has the seats, maybe
Was that a
someplace.
Senior services van, the seats are out of it, but I think.
Yeah. We don't wanna get too far into this because we don't know where the seats are, that's okay, we'll figure it out. But the seats were taken out because the van is used primarily for a large Meals on Wheels route. And so they can pack all the stuff in there and take care of a wide service area. So it got us thinking about, okay, what could we possibly do? Is there the potential to maybe swap some vehicles and that kind of stuff? So we wanted to do nothing more than kind of bring it here today for just a quick conversation, to say that, the Meals on Wheels program is important, and they need space to, transport 50+ meals, usually in most of those routes. But we didn't think that there was imminence to say, hey, we need to go out and buy a van, or those kinds of things. It's trying to maybe swap around vehicles that we have at our disposal at this point in time.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So I think, Jamie had said maybe there's 2 Explorers in the fleet that maybe we could swap, which makes a big deal to the Meals program because there's 4-wheel drive and some of those other things for navigating the winter weather and those kinds of things. So I think we'll work on it. The Kia, apparently, if you talk to Kathy Walters, lover to that, there's some quirky things about the Kia that have some mechanical difficulties that we probably have to navigate through a little bit, but, so we just wanna evaluate what's available to us and maybe have some options. That seem fair? Is that?
Yeah, it's not that it's gonna be utilized a lot by the county, it doesn't need to be a brand new vehicle.
Well, we're probably not gonna, just if he wants to swap vehicles.
Right, that's why we came up with the swap
Yeah,
idea.
we probably won't buy a vehicle.
Oh, I thought I'd get maybe the shark. But one of the big things is, what we end up doing is we end up taking either 2 trips or 2 cars that require then 2 children and family service staff and, those kinds of things, and it just bogs down the system a little bit, so. In the grand scheme of things, it would be a convenience, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out if there's a vehicle that we can swap around or how we can work on that transport. We even talked about Rusk County Transit Commission being called to say, hey, what do you have available? And could we just borrow that for the afternoon because we have a supervised visit or transport or whichever. So we've got some options, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So, very good. How painless was that? Okay, we're good. All right.
You're a good talker.
Yeah, just a good talk. Try to be prepared. Okay, thanks for coming to work today, everybody. Have a nice day. Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Where do we wanna go from here?
No.
Same
I think we can go back to the top, but I just wanted to tell you that, we just prepared another one, CC under, CC under number 8, that was, we just took care of that one, so you can pass that on.
Okay. Well, then going back to the top of the agenda, we got the court recycling fairgrounds and trails in report.
Okay, recycling will be pretty painless too. The only thing is Town of Murray is one of the few sites that only has one recycling dumpster. They're way up north on Lone Pine Road, but now they have outgrown their 8-yard dumpster. They currently get pickup every 2 weeks. So they've been full at 10:30 in the morning, have to turn people away. So, I asked Waste Management what would be more cost effective to either get another dumpster or to increase their frequency of pickup. And they said it would be cheaper to do another dumpster. So for an 8-yard dumpster it'd be $79.17. For a 6-yard dumpster it'd be $66.17, and they would still stay on the every other week pickup. The difference between the two is $13, so.
What were the two numbers again? Sorry, sure.
For an 8-yard, $79.17, 6-yarder would be $66.17. And typically, when it gets to be summertime, people recycle more, there's more beverage containers, so I'd recommend the 8-yarder, but I wanted to run it by you, before I did that.
And we'll take care of it? Carter?
Yeah, it'll come out of the recycling grant.
I mean, that will take care of the problem.
Yes.
I'm sorry, where'd you say?
Recycling grant, yeah.
Is that an additional dumpster, or is that?
Yep, it's an additional one, yes, cause they only have one. Most sites have between 2 to 4. And once upon a time, they did have 2, but then when the budget cuts came, they gave up one. And now, the last few months, they've been struggling, so they need another one.
Okay. Motion by Jerry, to provide an additional 8-yard dumpster. Murray, second by Al. Any additional questions on it? Not all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, is that it? We'll get Trails In next.
Yep, no report for Trails End, no change. And for fairgrounds, I'm not sure where the status of ARPA funds is, but, there is absolutely no internet down at the fairgrounds, so that would be, an option I could explore if somebody wanted that explored. Right now, when the fair's down there, we just get a MiFi, and that runs our computers, but, for camping, the users groups, even for the senior center, there is no internet, so, I'm not saying, it's a great idea, it's not a great idea, but, just wanted to run it by you. If you'd like me to explore it further, I can, but, it would be a great service, and if we had fairgrounds users, I could charge them for it.
I don't think anything's been definitively decided on ARPA yet, has it?
We did have that resolution for ARPA, so that's definitively decided, but we still have money left that isn't.
I know, but we haven't decided what's gonna happen, how much will be spent where yet.
Internet would be an ongoing cost anyways, I don't think that'd come on ARPA. If you'd have a monthly service fee on internet.
Right, so it probably would be minimal, but I know right now the Historical Museum uses Charter, and CenturyLink is at the senior center, but CenturyLink can't provide internet for whatever reason, so we'd have to go off Charter. So it'd just be getting I don't know if they're boosters or what they are, around the fairgrounds, so it could payment or whatever it does around the fairgrounds. There's much more technical terms that Bugs could probably share with you, but that's what I took away from conversing with him.
I feel like 90% of people have cell phones that got internet on it nowadays, and they're bringing it out there themselves, so, I mean, during the fair,
idea what kind of cost it would be?
I do not. I know the costs for, cause once upon a time, which why I thought it was gonna be a bigger expense, they were talking about putting a tower here that would beam it down or whatever it does down to the fairgrounds, but there's too many trees. So that would have been a much bigger, dollar amount, but this could actually be fairly, you know, this could be just absolved in the budgets and I can talk to Kathy Walter, see if she would like internet down there. It would be nice in the senior youth building, that is used at least 4 or 5 times, a week by different groups. It would be nice to have, free Wi-Fi down there.
Did we have a meeting down there last year?
We did, and I had to rush and find a Wi-Fi and get it going.
Well, I guess you could, look into it further
Okay,
and bring it back.
okay, yeah, whether it's ARPA or, but, okay, I just wanted to go ahead to explore options.
And some of those costs would be recoverable through, senior services,
Yes.
programs also.
Yep. Yep, so I'll start there, thank you.
Anything else, is that it?
Nope, not for me. So, John, East Wing?
Fairground report.
The report or you just want me to?
Oh, there's really nothing to report unless, you know,
Nothing to report, I mean, it's
still shoveling.
still
plowing.
shoveling, be a lot of mess to clean up in the spring. But,
Yeah.
I think Johnny's got the information on the barn, I think.
So, for the last meeting, we did get some proposals back, these are all closed bids, these three here, I don't know if you guys wanna open them, they're all sealed, so. I haven't looked at.
Bids for the groundwater stuff?
These are for it would be for all these actually are just for the concrete work. I called Kane's Construction, cause they were gonna put a bid in, I got ahold of them the other day, he said just use my bid from the last one, it'll probably be a little bit less. And that bid was $44,400. So I put this together, to kinda show everywhere, like kinda where we were at. Obviously the concrete pricing isn't in there. I had figured it out, like just the rebar and stuff, but that doesn't include rental of equipment and labor, so I kinda pulled those out for now. Lampert's gave us a bid for materials, and that came in at $83,600, which is, compared to the last building estimate, is $22,000 less. I used, Kane's Construction there, what their labor bid was, and then the same with the electrical. We're doing about the same thing as what was proposed before, so, that was B&B Electric, I believe, yeah. So the way it sits now, of course, I don't have concrete numbers, I don't know who wants to open these. This is J&J Concrete out of Exelon, and these three are Alesco Concrete and Masonry out of Weyerhaeuser. And, I mean, it goes down, I got it broke down for what the new barn would be, what the wings would cost, and the multi-purpose for doing half of that, plus and minus 10%, because that's how they kinda always do it. And so we can kinda, I guess, this will give us basically what our rough costs would be. But I don't know if you guys wanna open those and I can put in the numbers, we can look at,
Yeah.
this would be the overall price here, otherwise I have it broken down individually, of what the costs would be. I also have got, they're verbal commitments right now as far as donations for this. Lampert said that they have a fund they can dip into for projects like this. That would go to help pay for some of the materials cost. I haven't got that number, cause they have to take it, of course, through everybody. I got a verbal commitment from Haas Concrete that they enjoy cost sharing or, donating to stuff like this, and they would, work with us on the cost of concrete, basically. And I talked to Jason just the other day about that, and he said that, he has talked to, of course, the other owners, but they're very willing to do that. So, and I know Kane's Construction does a lot for the fair, so.
I'm talking the new building.
Yeah, I know, we're one of the links.
Concrete.
And where are the other buildings?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know,
New barn first?
we can start with the new barn there.
Okay.
This is concrete only. I got just the two bids from J&J Concrete and Alesco Concrete and Masonry.
Okay,
And that includes, so these bids will include the cost of concrete, the labor, and the rebar, and whatever equipment they need,
well, this is from Alesco Concrete and Masonry,
okay?
bid one. It's, new barn construction, 100 by 60 foot, 100 foot by 60 foot pole barn. Concrete with rebar, 2 foot by 9 inch, haunch, whatever that is. 100 by 60 foot
So-
slab, 4 inch thick, was 10 by 60 apron, 4 inch thick, number 3 rebar, 2 foot on center. And bid includes site prep, sawing and sealing, 52,400.
So I will reiterate on that, Tony, too, cause after talking to all these guys, you know, I was trying to do it, you know, we're kind of figure most cost effective way. We actually kind of, and everybody I talked to with this, we retracted the haunch, cause it cut 38 yards of concrete out of the cost. So, basically we're gonna build a pole shed like pretty much anyone does around here anymore. Poles will be set in the ground, and then the concrete would be poured. Also all the concrete guys I talked to, especially these two, they use number 4 rebar. And the price of number 3 and number 4 is pretty much the same. It's just number 4 is obviously a little sturdier. It's 1/2 inch versus 3/8. So this Chad, what he put, that's Alesco, correct? So what Chad put in there, that was the description that was given, but that is based off of a 4 inch slab, 100 by 60 4 inch slab, with number 4 rebar. He just put the description because that's what was on the RFP. But J&J, I talked to them, they did the same thing, 4 inch, number 4, 2 feet on center, so. This is what it looks like though with Alesco's bid on for the new one then, our price would be right around 198,000. Which brings, you got your plus or minus 10%, of 218,000, that would be for the new building. The one thing this new building includes that the original one didn't is the built-in bleachers. The cost for the bleachers in these, and that's through Lampert's as well, what they did is they had a company fabricate, basically structures, steel structures to put bleachers on. And the cost of the bleachers, which in the end will fit right around, we said 450 people in it, was $21,000. And that includes this bid part in the 83,595. So, you're not gonna find, or be, spend 21,000 and get enough bleachers to fit 450 people in, so.
Okay, oh, we have another bid here. J&J Concrete,
Yep,
they're 60 by 90, 4 inch thick, with 1/2 inch rebar, 2 foot on center. Set up by 10, 4 inches thick with 1/2 inch rebar, 2 foot on center. Set up, 163 by 12, 4 inch thick, stick with 1/2 inch rebar, 2 foot on center. And the total was $13,984.
how much?
There's 3 of them, I don't know if you gotta add them together.
Cause there was 3 different things on that RFP.
Yeah, there's 3 different
That's
bids.
not the
Can I
right
see them,
one.
Tony? Let's see, cause that was.
There's 1, 2, and 3 right on them.
Okay.
Oh,
The total was 13,900 something.
Yeah, but then you add the other ones to it.
Oh, we haven't had
Yeah.
another one.
No, his is 26,400.
I haven't got to that one yet.
Oh, sorry, okay. Yeah, this is, trying to figure out which one,
It says on top, bid 1, 2, and 3.
yeah.
You must have requested 3. You have to add them all.
We did them all
So
separate. so you
number
could
one is the
bid.
new barn construction, 100 by 60. 2 is the multi-purpose, 3 is a round barn. Wings.
Yeah.
He's got 2 other envelopes with them on it. I don't know why he's got 3 on that.
So this is bid one, he's got, that's for the building coming in at 26,400. I guess I wish there was some clarification, I don't know if he's got concrete in there, cause the concrete alone's 20,000, so.
This makes it kinda confusing though, when you have a bid like this, compared to the other. You know, it's really trying to compare apples and oranges, not real clear. But anyway, they are what they are. And, I'll let have them. I want to look up the winners.
2 is a multi-purpose building.
Yeah.
First,
So that would be bid
2, yep.
Yeah, they're confusing.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what part, some of this might overlap from one of the other bids.
Well, it says 150 by 100. This is not concrete.
That's not concrete, so, that's what I thought, there was no concrete added, so I'm like, that ain't right, so otherwise he's only making like $5,000, and I highly doubt that can happen.
If I remember right, we're looking at donations for this?
Well, we're not gonna get somebody to donate $200,000 to this, obviously. What we're looking for is to see what property or finance is willing to give us. I know we'd kinda requested ARPA funds to help with this. We know it basically it's come down to just cost sharing it. How much can we get, to go through? And that's what, I'm working on today is, this is what our rough cost is gonna be to do the project and how much is the county willing to help. Cause like I said, I know I guess here on behalf of the fair, but it's not just for the fair, it's for the county as a whole. I talked to, actually this last week, I was up down at a conference, and I talked to a guys from Sawyer County, but Washburn County has buildings similar to this that are concreted, and they use them they rent it out for storage in the winter time. Obviously, this would, I suppose, fall on Gary, but they rent it out and people bring in trailers and boats and stuff like that, and they, put them in there. And it's just, I don't know numbers, how much they charge, something easy enough to figure out. But it's another way to just, create income off these buildings. Again, going back to even, renting it out in the summer or the fall for other events, this isn't just for the fair. This isn't to improve our fairgrounds as a whole, so.
We used to rent out, storage at the fairgrounds, and then there was some issues with the current maintenance supervisor, so we got rid of that. But we used to rent out, storage in the barns and then also under the grandstand. So it's already set. I mean, I used to do and bill and all of that stuff, so, should just go through, I can just redo that, run, numbers, see what we wanna charge, et cetera.
Okay, we got a third bid here, it's, let's go concrete masonry. Bid number 2, it says multi-purpose building, 4-inch thick slab.
Yep.
3-inch rebar, multi-purpose, 75 by 50. Wall track, 8 by 16 foot. Bid includes site prep, sawing and sealing, $27,750. That's just for the concrete part, right?
That includes concrete, rebar, and labor.
Right, but that doesn't, see, that's what bothers me, some of these bids.
The
They don't
second one.
take into account,
This is not.
huh?
The J&J one for the new building, Tony, that 26,000,
Yeah.
that does not include concrete. That is just labor and, basically just labor and equipment.
But what about the materials?
So,
You gotta put structure up. It's confusing on what parts and materials, what's concrete, what's labor or whatever set up. It'd be nice if you had this kind of packaged together, each one of these.
I get what you're saying 100%, Tony, but I mean, Johnny, I think, did a phenomenal job of getting all this stuff ready. I mean, he's got a great plan. It's just, like I said before, it's, we're putting the cart before the horse on it.
But I think this could after these bids are open and read, these could be put together as a combined package. The materials are this much, our bid for the concrete's this much, and the labor, et cetera, is this much. The combined total of X dollars.
That's what.
That's what he's doing on the
Oh, yeah.
spreadsheet, on
What?
Right here. So, right here we have, this would be a Lesko concrete masonry bid at 52,400. Roughly, if we put 6 inches of gravel across the whole thing, you know, excavating, bringing 6 inches of gravel, plus that includes aprons and stuff, we're at 130 yards of gravel at $15 a yard is $1,950. Building materials from Lampert's, $83,595. Kane's Construction, they said use our bid from before. Their labor bid for that was $44,400. Same with, B&B Electric, came in at $16,261. So this is all the new building cost right there, with a total of $198,606.82. The rebar cost over here, right now, we need 4,725 pounds of rebar. That's number 4, 2 inches on center. It comes with a total of $3,012.19. Rebar right now is about $1,275 a ton. So it's our main cost right now. You know, building materials, everything's down. Concrete is not. But like I said, I talked to Haas. They're willing to cut us a deal to be a sponsor of this building. So
Is 2 foot on center for rebar close enough?
that's pretty standard, yeah. I mean, we do everything through our department. We do everything 18 inches on center, but everything we do is over-engineered and overbuilt, to be honest. And the reason why is because, you know, it's coming through state funds or whatnot, grant programs.
With number 4 bar, you'd be fine.
Yeah, number 4 bar, I mean, you're talking, it's 1/2 inch rebar, you know. And then you do your saw cuts, and your construction joints is what they call them. That way, if your concrete moves and breaks, it's a clean break, you actually don't even notice it, and the rebar holds everything in place. So, that bid right there, Tony, that you were looking at for the new barn right now, I did kind of figure, J&J, I mean, their total would be around 44,000. That's, I mean, going if I figured the concrete and rebar right, which I'm pretty sure I did, but, one thing I guess I didn't take into consideration to add probably $1,000 to, J&J's, I know it's in the Lesko's, cause he's got the concrete bid in there, is a surcharge. Haas is charging that no matter what, doesn't matter how far because of fuel prices.
A question I have, I'm sorry, the question I have is, it's all well and fine, Johnny did a great job in that, but you're opening up sealed bids now, and that it's being broadcast to everybody. If we don't pick somebody here, and that, what's another contractor gonna say, well, there's $44,000, I'm just gonna bid $43,000, since everybody knows the numbers now.
Should have been done in the session. Huh? Only got this 40-50 size. I guess I might as well read it, like all the rest. Let's go concrete.
Which one, Tony?
Let's go for bid number 3. Round barn wings.
Alright,
That was the west wing 60 by 9. East barn 100 by 10. Dairy barn 163 by 12. And, bid price was $29,161.
so I'll put it in, I didn't break it down further, I mean, I obviously would've known this number ahead of time, I could've figured it out, but. So, there's where you're looking at, our grand total for just doing the wings would be about $30,128.50 through, that's with the Lesko concrete. I will say too, I mean, these are the 3 projects we're really looking at getting done. out there. Is it feasible to do all three this year? Maybe. Is it, maybe do two of them? Our top priorities would obviously be the new barn and the multi-purpose. It's, kind of the most functional as far as what it's gonna be used for. And, concreting the aisles of the round barn, that's great, but to other users and event holders, it's not as appealing, I suppose, cause it's just a center aisle. Whereas the multi-purpose and the new barn would be.
Well, as far as my understanding is, these projects were approved, or some of this work was approved as far as spending ARPA funds. At the last finance meeting we had, they wanted to put this whole thing on hold because we don't know what it is.
These projects were not approved yet with our funds.
Just to get they didn't want to approve any further work until we got
See
better.
what happens with the jail, to see what happens with the
Happen
jail.
with the jail, with the hospital, everything. I mean, there's just too much stuff hanging in the air.
I think what they're looking for is, see the cost, so that we can go out and get, landlord or whomever can go out and get some help.
I mean,
Donations.
what would you guys be willing, to even help cost
Let's
share?
put the cart before the horse then, if you're going out to get bids, cause,
Not bids, it's,
well, okay.
Even
you
if
need to know
you're,
what it's gonna cost, you can't go out and
but
say,
even if you're soliciting donations, you still gotta know what they're going for.
Yeah.
right,
And we haven't really decided on
And what's gonna be approved?
approved yet.
So the real question would be, are we willing to put money into that if there's not, if it doesn't come out of ARPA? And if so, where would it come from?
Right.
Yeah, and that, we're looking at trying to get a whole cost here to see, and it gives you guys an idea of what it's gonna cost to do it. If we can get a number from you, we know then how much we need to come up with to be able to fund the rest or get donations. I understand there's some bigger stuff going on, with the jail and, the hospital building. But I don't know what's left in ARPA funds. But I know it's not enough to fund the entire jail or a hospital building.
I don't think it was intended for that, but
Okay.
the fact is, there may be, I think there was, last I understood, there's around $1 million left of ARPA.
Yeah, just under that. Hold on, no, sorry, not counting. Yeah, just a little over that.
Right. But it don't take long to eat up $1 million. Yeah.
We got some pretty good sized projects that we're looking at, so
You take all three of them, it's
that would take care of it.
pile her up in a hurry. And we have some other potential uses that have arisen since a lot of this came out. It's been discussed, and, so I just take, I think it's a little premature at this point.
Tabled for now.
That's what I think.
We don't know where we're going, ARPA funds or anything else.
I think it should be postponed.
Back in December, I was looking at some minutes today, the original new barn construction and cost was about 249,000. And that was, discussed for approval and all that good stuff. Right now, all three projects are sitting at 257. We cut cost on this new barn by, like I said, actually, the concrete bid for the original was, I believe, 65,000.
The thing with the ARPA, you can't use ARPA funds and a grant money.
Nothing's coming out of a grant for this.
Is there any possibility of getting grant money for this?
I highly doubt it, because it's multi-use, it's not going to just one specific thing.
You can use both as long as they're not being used for match.
Okay. But the other thing is, we've got capital projects going on here, we're gonna borrow capital. You might borrow capital for some of this stuff, save the ARPA for other things. Or the capital, if you borrow it, you can use it as a match toward the
I
grant.
think we should borrow as least amount as possible, if any.
Yeah, I know. I think it needs to be thought about that before any decisions be done.
I mean, one thing we gotta look at too, I mean, the whole reason this came up, or a lot of this did, especially the new barn, is the east wing.
Well, I understand that, that's where it all started.
That's where it all, I mean,
Why'd it grow so big?
something, well, cause something's gotta get done. Kane's Construction flat out said they will not tear that east wing down until something else is going up, because it structurally is tied into the round barn, and you can't pull it off your round barn and then lose structure. So we're looking at the fair, what are we supposed to do with a barn that is a safety issue? You know, we can't have people going in and out of it, you know, in the summertime, people could go in that barn, they do horse shows, they do other events.
Well, you could block it off.
I mean, you block it off, but if somebody goes in there, I guess then, is it at their own risk?
Well, sure, if you got it signed and blocked off, people go in there, I mean, whose fault is it? You got warning signs and everything else.
Well, I understand that.
I suggested shoring last time, but, I guess it hasn't happened anymore.
But do you think, whatever you're gonna decide with jail and hospital is gonna happen anytime soon? Cause,
Some of it is,
It's got to.
some has gotta happen.
quotes only are good for so long, if prices just keep going up and, some of these projects could get done this summer.
Kane's Construction said they have a small window yet to be able to do the new barn. They have a small window that they can fit that in yet this summer. Obviously it'd be before the fair, and, concrete guys, of course, they understand that it would get done this summer as well.
We still have the bathrooms contend, but that's not even considered part of this.
Correct.
Bathrooms already approved, though, ain't it?
Just the 8,000 for the,
Yep.
For the plans.
yeah.
Well, I think we should, personally, I think we should postpone a decision on this for a while.
Can you forward that?
I'll send this to you,
Send
yeah.
that spreadsheet to me, thanks.
At least till the next meeting.
Like I said, I mean, I think anyone here is in favor, we don't have to do all three, this was just all three ideas, so that's why they got
Forward
brought
that
up.
and look at the options over there, have one more time.
And I don't believe we should make a decision gonna be made today.
I just wanna thank Johnny for doing everything that he did.
Well,
I do appreciate that.
I'm not knocking that, but it's just that, you know, things, some situations have changed too, here in the last 4 months. So it makes us, you know, take us another look at things.
Biggest thing is we're gonna have to look at if we prove something, where we're gonna take the money out of.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guess that ARPA's gonna be on hold for a while, just a guess,
Yeah.
the next few months. And if we're talking about summertime working on them, we wanna look at other budgets. I don't know what that.
Cause yeah, we're getting crunched for time, these guys are starting to fill up. Like I said, Kane said we have a small window that this can go up. Concrete guys are the same thing, if they don't have a sure job, they're gonna skip over it and go on to the next one, so. I mean, in the meantime, I guess if you guys would like, I can reach out and say, hey, how much you guys, as far as these contractors go, willing to donate, see what Haas says. I know Chad Olesko said he'd be willing to donate some too. What I told all these guys, I said, don't put a donation into this bid, we need to know what it's gonna cost without that. You know, so you guys know an actual number.
Yeah, we'd rather know what worst case scenario than.
Yeah, well,
All
that's
of a-
just
all
it,
of a
and that's
sudden
why,
halfway through
I
the
mean, that's why I
project,
put
we're
a
over.
plus or minus 10%, you can kinda scratch the minus 10%, I've never seen a bid go below, you know, it's just how it is, but.
Will, all right, anybody got wanna make a motion on this at all? Postpone it,
Postpone
at least till the next meeting?
The next month,
Or
it, I guess. We gotta see what's going on.
The finance, see where they wanna fund it.
Well, finance gonna have to have a look at it also.
Like they're gonna figure out where we're gonna get the money to pay for either capital projects or ARPA. You send it to
That
finance, see where
probably
they
would
want
be
it.
the best option.
Get a motion.
What's that?
I'll make
Send
it,
it to finance, cause
see where they want us to fund it.
the biggest thing's gonna be funding, where if we're gonna fund it, where are we gonna fund it from?
You have a motion send it to finance, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Phil. Finance next. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Carries. Now we got the bathrooms.
I reached out to the engineer there that we, got on board for the state approved drawings. He sent me, a couple days ago, he sent me the six shower rooms and the 8 shower rooms. I wasn't able to put it on the computer, but here it is if you guys want it. The one circle there is the six one, and the next page over is the 8 one. And it's gonna, what was it charged, $6,500 now? It's at 8,000, so far it's gonna be about $6,500.
For the plan?
He's only charged me $300 so far for the preliminary plans, but he's hoping to give me a whole full set, so we can get proper bids and that, about a month or two. But, once he gets the proper plans and specs, we get to.
And how much was this plans projected cost then?
You guys approved 8,000. As of right now, it's gonna cost 6,500 unless, something happens or arrives, but.
So we want to proceed with that?
Oh,
We already did.
you already have that.
What I mean, actually proceed with it? Yeah. Or not? Or you just gonna,
We got that much money into it already, we might as well proceed.
what's the option?
I can't get quotes on building until I get the
Until you
proper
get the-
drawings.
Right, I understand.
These are just preliminary.
Who wants to?
I was just bringing them to show you guys. Do you guys want the 6 one or the 8 one?
Sherry, didn't you recommend 8? Cause that's what you did at Ingram?
Six should be enough here.
That's in the summer where you got a lot of camping and stuff.
You got porta potties too.
Huh?
There's porta potties up there too.
It's true enough.
I mean, he's already, getting, I can actually get probably prices on both of them, 6 or 8, but we just
How
have
many are
to.
out there now?
Do you know, John?
What?
How many stalls?
There's
are-
3 there,
Three.
isn't there? Yeah,
Three.
3 in each.
Last year was one big one, I think on the pipe first.
Yeah.
Wanna keep that up? Well, I would say go ahead and see if we can finish the plans and get some kind of estimates on it. We get an estimate from either way, both of them, one for 6 and next one for an 8.
Cost how much extra?
See what the difference is.
We need a shower in every one of them.
Huh?
We need a shower in every one of them.
They're used very a lot.
I would if you want them to be secure, I guess. I think that was the whole point of doing it, was the young girls or young boys going in there to shower and be secure and safe, I think.
Yeah, you don't risk creating. So, BTQ and all that stuff going on. You don't know who's going in.
So you're saying there's a shower in one of them?
Yeah, there's a shower in each bathroom.
Yeah, it's a complete unit. And you can always make them coin operated.
That's not a bad idea.
We have to take credit cards.
What maintenance at Tony?
Swipe your credit card.
We're gonna need that internet out
Well,
there.
then you need internet.
Probably eat up the internet, or, know how much money we make off the showers with the internet though.
Well, anyway, I suggest we get a price on, estimate on both sizes.
That's the plan.
Okay, Grandstand repair update.
Okay, I got a quote for that, back in October, but then, you guys said you wanted some sealed bids, RFPs. So I ain't gonna be able to do an RFP until the snow melts, because right now there's 18 inches of snow on there. And obviously it's gonna be on-site for them to look at it, and that, so I don't think I'll be able to get an RFP until probably April, probably. And, when do you use that grandstands, I guess, is there a trunk pull or something that you use it?
Usually it's fair.
July.
July, so you're not gonna have much time, I'm sure that project's gonna take 2 months. I mean, so if I get an RFP out in April, May, cutting it pretty short, you know. Yeah, but, like I said, I got that one quote in October, but I'm sure that's not gonna hold, I'm sure all the prices increased on that. I will get new bids probably when the snow melts. All I got on that.
Well, again, there's something's end up going before finance.
This was already approved.
I know, but
This is
still.
on the art proof.
This has been approved by the board.
I know. Issues just raised up regarding use of ARPA.
But this is
That
a,
would change the picture. Man, nothing says it can't be changed.
I think we'd have to send it to the board, the full
County
board
board.
on approve it.
I understand that, I
I
agree.
don't know how that works, but it was
Well, I
approved by the
mean-
full board.
We have to go before the full board to unapprove it or change it. But there's a possibility. There's a lot of competition for all this money.
I know there is.
About 3 times as much money requested as there is available.
We usually borrow for the capital improvement plans.
What do we?
It's
What is-
usually every other year, and so it would have been this year, but we pushed it off another year, because we're waiting to see how the, jail should go.
Well, what's the pleasure? You wanna just have him go proceed with a,
RFP.
RFP?
Yeah, when the snow goes.
I guess that's what I'm planning on doing, since county board approved it already.
Yeah.
So, but, unless you tell me otherwise, you're my boss.
I think he was just giving an update, not asking, I don't think there's anything on the agenda about any funding or anything like that.
Okay, well, please proceed with the RFP and see what happens. All right, I guess we'll move down to the sheriff's department dash cams. Joe?
Morning.
Good morning.
We're bringing this for you because it's over $1,000, gonna purchase another dash cam and 2 body cams. All of them come with the purchase of the warranty, the cloud storage, all necessary parts, equipment. We'll pay for them out of our, equipment budget, and they'll be reimbursed by, the law enforcement agency grant. So it is money that will pay for it. It's about, $11,400. But it will be paid through the grant, so we just need your approval because it's over $1,000. Law enforcement agency grant.
Is that, how many cameras is that?
That's 1 dash cam and then 2 body cams.
I guess if you got a grant for it, I don't have a problem with you deciding, I give us another grant. I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Thanks.
I made a motion for you, write that down.
I got it.
I want that.
Motion by Phil, got her.
Okay, we got a motion made, and seconded for purchase 1 dash cam and 2 body cams for approximately $11,400 to come out of grant money. We got any discussion on it? Not all those in favor, signify by aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have sheriff's storage.
Oh, okay, so the sheriff's office and the police department store, evidence out at the Gates building. And, the city is asking to get in there to look at the electrical system for a possible renter. And it is my position that that part of the Gates building is not available to rent because law enforcement is using it. And we don't have any other place to put evidence, as of now, so I would like the committee to
Well,
render an opinion on that.
we approved them offices for secure storage, evidence. You know, I don't know how long, if there was a specified length of time or not, but, you know,
I think at some point we need to look at going to just a fenced and cold storage outside. It's my understanding that some of the other counties, have cold storage, and my understanding before when this was presented to me was that it had to be a heating building, but if that's the case, why would other counties be storing evidence in the cold?
well,
Yes, they're all in violation.
I don't know either, I'm just saying that, we did have outside storage previously. Out of that, Kelly building. But it wasn't big enough, I guess, I don't know, but, that was inside, and that heating system was not working at the time.
So the question would be, how much are we losing by not renting it out compared to how much it would cost to put some kind of a outside cold storage for the vehicles? I think that's a discussion that we should have here
Well,
eventually.
the other thing is too, is the fact that, we got a concrete renter yet. I mean, you wanna spend more money to do some electrical upgrades, for a chance you're gonna have a renter. You don't know,
That should be a joint management
it
decision.
is joint management, but
Decision to do the work on that building, not one party.
well, I'm sure it's gonna come up. That's probably within a week. The 15th, I just saw this morning. So. Until the decision's made, I guess we should leave it the way it is. It's what my feeling. Till joint management makes a decision.
Where would we put the stuff that we got in? We got a ME van, medical examiner's van, we got 2 ambulances in there. Where would that stuff go?
I don't know. That's the question we gotta address, yeah.
There's the ambulance and the ME van and the sheriff's storage too.
Not in the sheriff's
Sheriff's storage, no, but they're in the building.
But that's not the part that's correct. Is somebody looking at renting out that part right now, or the?
Yeah, Gary's taking care of that part. We're talking about the sheriff's storage part, so our position is that that is not available because it's being used. If you would like me to go a different direction, please let me know, otherwise I'm gonna stick on that path.
I think you should.
I would think that we should explore other options for sheriff's storage.
We could do that in the meantime.
Right, but I'm talking like right now.
Okay, as of today.
Yeah.
We don't have anywhere to put it, but I think that we should seriously look at that, cause there's been a lot of interest in renting storage around here. And
Has there been?
there has been.
Question back there. So, I guess somebody's got a question back there.
Yep. Al,
Couple of comments,
why don't you come up closer and hear you? I can't hear you very well.
relative to outdoor storage or fence storage. I'm quite sure that at the time the Flammable Mine closed down, that the county came into ownership of 5 miles of chain link fencing. I have some suspicions about whether that is still around, but it ought to be, because I've never seen any approval of where it was utilized. Maybe you need to track that down. You may well have that fencing. At one point in time, some of that was stored out in the northwest corner of the fairgrounds, where the camping area was. There may be some in other locations, but you should have a lot of fencing to be able to consider that. Second thing that I think you're probably not aware of, and I'm not gonna say I know this absolutely, but I'm relatively sure, the building plan that was approved for the Gates Avenue plant, probably getting there 20 years ago, was the general manufacturing approval under the, Wisconsin building code. Does not allow for vehicle storage inside of the building. I think it's an unlawful occupancy right now. I can check that out, but that probably means having a state building inspector come in and taking a look, and then posting a notice on the door, and you know what that notice is gonna say.
You know, if the city has anything out there?
I think that we've got a squad car out there that we told our people to get out of there. Maybe, there may be 2 vehicles.
Do you know that one? I believe last time I talked to Chief, there were 2 and he was working diligently to have them removed. And I believe, as far as evidence, or I'm sure if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the city portion is probably a small amount overall of the general evidence, not counting vehicles.
But either way, we both got stuff out there currently, right?
Yep.
So,
So not only is there a violation of the agreement for temporary use, but storing vehicles inside that building is probably an unlawful practice.
At one point in time, you had told me that that's probably one of the few buildings that we own that we could store vehicles in.
I don't recall that. You know, some buildings obviously are designed, you've got vehicle storage in this building. That portion of the building probably has additional airflow requirements that it meets and so on to enable that. But typically, the general manufacturing approval doesn't allow. So I think there's a whole number of issues here.
So in talking with Rich, he is in disagreement with that. The agreement and mortgage on file with the Register of Deeds was signed in 2004, and it states that the useful life of the building is 15 years, so that he believes that we are no longer under EDA grant requirements. And I talked with him this morning, and his suggestion is that the committee ask Rich to reach out to the city's legal counsel to discuss this.
Are you able to provide the city a copy of that particular document?
Your administrator has it.
So, just wants to what now?
as far as the legality of having vehicles stored out there, Rich, that's where Rich's opinions is for, yes.
I don't think Rich would have commented on the legality of storage within the building. That's a state building.
No, I'm talking about the agreement and the fact that that building is under EDA grant terms.
Is that why it was, is that, where the requirement of storing vehicles come from? Was that part of that?
I don't know that aspect of it.
I say we let Rich deal with it.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
I would still say that we should look at outdoor storage and look at, to see what it would cost, cause
Right now, the question is,
today, yeah,
keeping our vehicles out there.
yeah, as of today, I mean, we're not gonna just throw them out on the street.
Right.
But we should look into figuring out what we're gonna do, I think.
And then you have to figure out how to pay for it.
Right.
Well, you might pay for it with some rent money.
At the time that you got out of the
Rent
Kelly
money from
Cook
the Gates
building, Tony, was there any plan put in place at the time the other building was sold to reutilize that money or set it aside for replacing that facility?
Which one?
The Kelly Cook building that was used previously.
There was no, it was set aside as like a, what do you wanna call it? Money we wanted about capital project money. They were set aside for that. And I think we sold it for exactly what we paid for it.
Oh, pretty bad.
Sheriff wanted to vacate it at the time, and so we vacated it and put it up for sale. And so we got what we paid for it. I know the city bid on it at the time. We sold it to Lemke. And he's pretty perfectly happy with it. Now, I was told at the time we bought it, or we got it from Kelly, that the heating system was shot. Lemke tells me that the heating system is fine. So now, we got rid of a heated building, capable building, that wasn't being used as a heating storage. In which case, I don't believe the county would have vacated it if they known it, that the heating system worked.
Never an estimate to see what it would cost to get the heating system fixed either, was there?
Well, there was nothing, it was in floor heat, so basically all this is a boiler.
I think the floor was busted up in there too, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Oh,
Well, we're getting off topic though, we gotta stay on the.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, may I present just a couple things? I'll try to be real brief
Okay.
on the topic, thank you.
Well,
Here is the current breakdown. I highlighted the space the sheriff and PD are in, as well as the vacant space in orange that the, I think there's various county departments in. That represents approximately 35,000 square feet of space. Now that space in the middle, that D2 that's vacant, there's a couple of places that potentially have thought about expanding, but they're already renting that out, correct? Yes, yeah, and, if you just take the average lease amount that joint management currently gets for spaces, it averages out to about $2 a square foot annual, so you're looking at foregoing approximately $70,000 in rent per year. In this facility, we also make the, or for the sheriff's storage, or are you talking about both things? For the whole, so if, $2 a square foot annual, so if you just double the square footage there, that's the rent that's being foregone each year. In this facility, we also charge the tenants, a share of the utilities based on their footprint. The last numbers I had available, were from 2021 and showed $37,000 approximately in utility costs, given that government uses, will say, are occupying 56% of the building approximately, you're looking at another $21,000 in utility costs that are being eaten, I believe, out of the county mining fund. Is that correct?
Yes.
The mining fund. Looking at the last 5 years that I had available on this building, it shows operating losses between $11,000 and $50,000 a year. Obviously, if you go further back in that time, there was a time when there was a lot of vacant space here around the city and around the county. Right, as of right now, or I guess after our joint management meeting next week, the only available jointly owned space for rent will be in the Gates Avenue building, assuming leases get approved. But that D2 is currently available to rent to someone? D2 is currently available. There is someone looking at part of that just for a couple months during road bans, but then, yeah, one of the parties that's already in another part of that building has expressed interest in expanding to that full section. And we have had people looking at the sheriff's portion of that building. Back in late December, early January, I believe, I was contacted by a firm that has operations in Birchwood and Thorpe. They were looking to get in right away though, so they wound up passing on it, but had it been empty and available and ready to go, they would have already had that full. I know WB Manufacturing, which had been in the Conwood building prior to the county selling that to Henry, when they got notice they had to vacate, they looked at this building too, but it wasn't gonna be available in time for them to occupy it. So, currently, another user in the building is actually working with a firm over Rice Lake and would be looking to expand and potentially bring 2 to 4 jobs if they expanded their, manufacturing line.
He looked at the building though, and he said the sheriff said would work for him.
I've talked with him since, and he was interested in it. He also needs to have access to loading docks. Right now, the park he's in is served by some loading docks in that vacant space to the south. But if that all winds up getting leased, by another place here in town, those loading docks will become unavailable to him. He's expanding to the T2 portion. He's talked about.
And I'm not saying let's not do anything with the sheriff, so I'm just asking about currently that, manufacturer.
Yeah, at least in the short run, I think there might wind up being a battle over that whole E2 area. Just with talks that I've had.
With the different parties that may be interested in it, correct?
Right, and I have done some research, and I think I said it on the meeting, you know, where it was approved to put the sheriff's storage in gates here, and there wasn't ever a lease written up, and it was specified that it was going to be a temporary use until the private sector was looking at it. And now, you know, given the position, and I disagree with your position respectfully, so, now we're refusing to even show it or entertain the private sector, which would violate, the approval that was given to use that building in the first place.
We're not refusing, there's nowhere to put law enforcement storage, so it's a waste of time, in my opinion. Why would we lead someone on when that space isn't available?
Because according to what it was approved under, the space is available.
Where would the sheriff?
Where would we
sheriff
put
go?
law enforcement
Where would we
storage?
That's for,
That's our problem.
yeah, that's for the county to figure out.
Well,
That's not to say the city can't work on helping you figure it out. I brought this up to the interim administrator back in July. I believe this board talked about it briefly at a meeting in August. There was an option on the table, and that option wasn't taken up at that time, but it's been known about, that people have been interested in it since at least July.
My thought is this, our sheriff's department's got storage out there. How much of that storage, secure or otherwise, if you wanna call it for evidence, is generated by the city?
About 10%, sure.
Whatever.
I don't know.
They don't have, you know,
At
the
one
city's
time-
got,
At
the
one
city's
time,
got
the
stuff
city
stored
had
out there
more
also.
vehicles in there than we did at one point.
And the
It's
chief,
part of the sheriff's department.
What does the city plan to do with their,
the chief's working on disposing of the 2 cars they had out there, and, we can certainly make space in City Hall available for evidence storage, you know, smaller stuff that you don't have to put in
I
the garage.
was just wondering if we could, but you probably didn't already have us store stuff in City Hall.
Who pays for all of these costs of running Gates Building? I mean, because it's jointly city, county, how is that divided up? How much does the city pay, how much does the county pay?
It comes out of mining funds, don't it?
Comes out of county mining fund, and the county collects the entirety of the rent and utility payments.
We're carrying a loss of about $780,000 on that building. The county is carrying that entire loss.
So the county is actually footing everything then?
Yes.
Out of your mining fund, which is supposed to be used for economic development, not for general government operations. So the other problem you're running into as the county, and it, you know, is what it is, but you have a number of departments using that space that aren't charging that against their general operations, so you're not getting an accurate representation of what their actual cost is to the community. If you look at it that way, it should be line item on all those budgets. And yeah, there is the possibility anyway that we're still under, an agreement with the U.S. Economic Development Administration. The administrative coordinator is correct in noting that the mortgage document states 15 years. We do have a copy of the special award conditions for this specific project. And if you turn to the second page, I believe it's item 7. That lists a useful life of 20 years, which would put that property still under that,
Until October.
yeah, roughly until October. I noted in looking through the mortgage, and certainly I'm not an attorney, so maybe my interpretation is incorrect, but in the mortgage, there's kind of a catch-all near the end called governing law and severability, where in the event that any provision or clause of this instrument, the mortgage.
Where are you at again, now, sorry? What section were you in?
Oh, 7, I've got that. Okay. I didn't make copies of the mortgage for everybody, but I can pass it around, but it basically says, in the event, any provision or clause in the mortgage conflicts with applicable law, such conflict shall not affect other provisions of this instrument, which can be given effect without the conflicting provision, and to this end, the provisions can be declared severable. So basically, that says that if there's something wrong in this mortgage, federal law supersedes that. And looking at the 314 CFR requirements that EDA is funded under, the useful life of the project, and I've got copies, I can pass these out. Useful life is established in the terms and conditions of the investment assistance, and the terms and conditions are what are in front of you now. The mortgage agreement secures those terms and conditions, but those are the terms and conditions. And the number mentioned in here is 20 years.
Okay, well, again, Rich and I respectfully disagree with you, so I have the terms and conditions here. And in K4, which is referenced in section 7, determining the useful life, it says, and I really don't wanna get into this really should be Rich and the city's council, but it says that the statement must specify in years the estimated useful life of the project. This lien should be on file at real property records of the jurisdiction in which the property is located in accordance with local law, and what's filed on record with the Register of Deeds, the useful life says 15 years.
Yep, but it also contains what severability clause. But either way, you're right. This discussion, should overall happen in joint management. The property is owned 50% by the county, 50% by the city. The initial use for it, because both entities had to put some of their own taxpayer dollars into it, was for economic development, supporting our private business sector. Nothing against the sheriff's department, nothing against the PD. They both do very important work during the community stuff I certainly couldn't do. But right now we're tying up a steel frame building with high ceilings, with sprinklers, with loading docks. I don't believe the loading docks are used. So I more than anything, I guess, yeah, I'm here to advocate that we try to find a better permanent solution for our law enforcement to store their items, and also to help the county. You know, if you've got ambulances, you've got extra vehicles you need to store, let's work on finding a solution to that rather than just digging our heels in on this property that realistically is probably overkill for what it's being used for currently, and what it could be used for, and what it could be returning to the mining fund to the tune of $70,000 additional per year. The ambulances aren't a holdup right now, right? Not that I'm aware of. Okay. You said to find a solution for the ambulances, and I thought you were referring to that being a holdup. Right now, the ambulances are not holding up any part of the gate, really.
Nope,
I've been able to get into D2 there and show it plenty of times. So.
Nick, one time, when we were back before the condo was sold, Andy and, we had an agreement with a real estate company in Minneapolis working at selling our properties. And I think that's how Conrad came about. I won't swear to it, but in any event, it ran for a year or two and then it seemed like it was just dropped. I don't wonder how much attempt there has been to even sell Gates Avenue. A little manufacturer in here, that would solve the problem. Sell the damn building to an outside source.
But even if we do that, Tony, we do gotta find a spot to put this.
I understand, but you'd have some money in to do it.
I mean, if we rented out the sheriff's side, it'd be $45,000 for renting that out. Which half of it, we'd get half the city would get, correct?
You know, we're glutted with.
Right now, let's go into pay back your loss on the mining.
Yeah, we're glutted with buildings that are just cost us a fortune. We got the Enterprise Center, that's needing work. We've had that over there on Fifth Avenue, been quite a bit of money stuck in that, and it's an older building. Now we got buildings out in the industrial park that are being used like for storage, and that one building says well, there's a pipe outfit in there, I guess. The heated one. I wonder, how much is that? That's a $1.3 million building, I think it was stuck into that building. I wonder how much revenue that, what was it, Dowdy Road number 1's building is bringing in. What's the rent on it, you know?
Probably not enough to cover the maintenance.
The one on Dowdy?
Yeah. The one closest to the highway.
That's the heated one.
Yeah, that's the heated one.
So, well, this is through the end of, 21, I haven't updated for 22 yet, but that one actually was showing a profit overall of.
But I mean, how much is it bringing, how much rent does it actually
Rent?
generate?
Did you say 20,000 or something for the year?
I know they stuck over $1 million there when they, installed a heating unit system from Merritt Wood.
I kinda suggested that building.
So that one's about $30,000 a year rent.
It's a hell of a lot more suitable for a manufacturing building than Gates. This joint manufacturing building, why don't we get rid of one? Why don't we get rid of some of these buildings?
I'd like to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, hell.
Tony, when some of these projects were put together originally, that was the plan in the long term. It was to create jobs in the community and actually recover some buildings that the county had acquired by tax dollars that were contaminated and in terrible condition.
I know.
But we were essentially waiting out those EDA mortgages to the point when those would expire, after which they could be sold, because if you did a sale later, you had to pay back the grant investments.
But my whole point is this, as a landlord, if you wanna call us that, because of the joint management projects or whatever, we've been damn poor landlords. We lost over $700,000 on huh? Yeah, well, whatever, that company was in here with that.
Oh,
5R.
5R.
I mean, every time you turn around, we're losing money. We started out with quite a pot of money from mining impact. What's the amount, how much is left in my mining funds right now?
Approximately $1 million.
Approximately $1 million to cover, all the upgrades and repairs that we need to keep going.
But if we don't spend the mining funds on getting businesses, then what are we gonna spend it on? That's what it's for there.
Well, if you sell the building, that's getting business, or try to get the businesses in. I'm just saying, I don't think it's been managed very well.
Well, if we're losing money on these buildings, there's no sense in really keeping them.
We're having appraisals prepared at this time on both the Fritz and Gates.
I want the tablet.
So that we can use that to base
Well-
setting a sale price.
At least for the time being, we're getting off the subject here anyway, but, we're not in a position to actually vacate the sheriff out of that building at that point. We can continue to look for some options, but I don't see us being able to get our stuff out of there.
Gary's got a question.
The just so everybody knows, that D two area, just so everybody knows, the fiberglass place, they kind of overlap their boundaries quite a bit throughout that space. I know Don Paper overlaps into there, quite a bit there, move their stuff in and out. There's a highway's got a couple trucks out there. One's a tanker truck, just because it can't be, should be inside. Animal shelter's got some stuff out there. Maintenance, we got some stuff out there. It's stuff that really can't freeze, basically. Public health's got some stuff out, one thing out there.
ME van is out there.
And there's one ambulance out there, sometimes two ambulances out there.
And the ME van, so.
What's the
Yep.
line?
Yep.
What's the line there? Is that, that paper?
That was drawn on there when I got it, so it's,
That kind of, just somebody do it.
I think it's showing, yeah, a line of posts or something.
Okay, I just was.
And just, I mean, I know we're trying to get another guy in there, in that one area there, just under where it says D two there. I mean, that's where the ambulance parks right now. And that,
But the ambulance, I mean, it sounded like we could move them out, right? We got a place to go with them.
What?
The ambulance, we got a place to go with the ambulance?
No, that's why they're there.
everything that's there, we could, I mean, yeah, unless we have another place to put them, I mean, we don't, I mean, we can shuffle stuff or, we're shuffling stuff around, but I mean, when the ambulance needs to get out of there, it's gotta get out of there. I mean, there's a couple times the fiberglass people had shit all over, and the ambulance couldn't get out, or I couldn't get stuff out of there.
Was the EMS garage at the fire hall all full?
I believe everything is filled up, correct?
It's the Ladysmith backup ambulance that's in the Gates building.
Wondering, yeah, how many ambulances we had.
Well, we can't keep the sheriff out of there.
No, the matter, at the moment, we gotta find something, some kind of alternative. We can't just say, well, we have to get out. Can't do it. Too much in it to start with.
Mr. Chair, it's probably not an action item here, but it's something like at least putting out an RFP for a building that, you know, might be county funded, might be county and city jointly funded based on expected usage.
Well,
Is it worth putting out that RFP at least?
there's, you mean for us to purchase one? Or to build one?
Build one, but look to purchase in the meantime too if something comes up.
Well, I would think we wouldn't need a building, we just need a fence.
The question is then where we gotta find a spot to build.
That'd be the thing, where's the property at?
Huh?
That'd be the thing, would be where's the property at?
Yeah. I don't know of any place around that's adequate room to put up a building that's, you know, conducive to down to the sheriff's department area, whatever you wanna call it, close proximity.
Is there room by the highway shop?
I thought I looked at it,
We have to do something about the
a
whole
few
building.
months ago, and I'd have to look into it.
Ambulance, ME van.
Nothing like that's out there, but.
You have to have a big enough building.
ME van's got a heat, just hell of her. Stuff that they got in her weather. It was an
It could
ambulance.
be outside, a lot of that. Some of the stuff could be outside.
Well, not the ME van.
That was city
Ambulances.
property, correct?
It's just,
I don't think we're worried at this point, right now, we're mostly looking at sheriff's said ME van and the ambulances. I think the ME van could be stored at somebody's house.
Yeah.
Could be stored at, somebody's house.
The ambulance or the ME van?
The ME van. And that leaves us with, we got one ambulance out there too.
So Phil, you're asking that one of the MEs store the van in their garage at their house?
Other houses that have to be stored inside.
Well, that's the whole point of it, is because when they need it right now. You know, that's kinda where we're at with our equipment that we have in there. When it's needed right now. We have an ERT call, we can't let our vehicle warm up for an hour to go on an ERT call. I mean, so that's
The
kind of
ERT
where
is
we're
that,
at.
thing for the SWAT team or whatever.
What's that?
The ERT, that's the
Yeah.
SWAT team.
The Humvee, yeah.
Humvee thing.
You know, so there's things that need to be, ambulances can't be put outside, period.
No.
Because
Same as
they
the empty
can't.
van, they got all the equipment in there, like,
Right, I
they
mean,
can be cold.
you know,
So it'd have to be,
Some garage storage.
so we'd have to have some.
Yeah,
you gotta have some.
storage At least, but the evidence not necessarily for the vehicles.
Some of it does, but,
But yeah,
But not the vehicles.
I'm in no way advocating that anybody just,
Throw everything
take you guys
outside.
out in the cold and say, sorry, good luck. I'm advocating that we all get together and work on trying to find a permanent solution. Cause whether you sell this building or whether you lease it out to somebody, the needs coming down the road, you can look down the road and see it, so I think that's something that.
Well, we have times, and I don't think there's anything pressing us to act on it, you know, in any specific time frame.
So we got,
We could search for the alternatives, but, in the meantime, I think we gotta leave things the way they are.
So I would say,
Is that a motion?
You need kind of a motion or no, or was this an action item or not?
I don't think it can be, it's a joint management.
It was just for discussion.
so for total storage, we got the ME van, the, for heated, we got one ambulance,
For a motion.
we got the Humvee,
Or somebody wanna make a motion, leave things the way they are?
everything else.
Highway department.
I'll make a motion.
Recommend that.
Is there a second?
Very good.
What's the motion?
Leave things the way they are for the time being.
Work on,
Recommend to joint management to leave things the way they are.
gotta look into alternative options.
Any other discussion on that? Talk to the cost of home, but it's going in circles. All right, motion's made and seconded. All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Well, we'll just have to keep working on it, that's all.
Thank you.
All right, forestry for culvert workers, road.
So I got that one, I emailed you guys the invoice on it. You guys had approved at the last meeting up to $2,500, they went $23 over that, you just need approval for that additional $23.
All right, motion's made and
Hey,
seconded.
we're moving now.
By Jerry and Harry.
Agreements mean nothing here.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by aye. Aye. $23 more. Summer help. Where's that going? That must be for Gary.
Where are we at?
The judges here.
Huh? Where's that?
Cross it off or?
Well, that was because Tammy Johnson pulled it off.
But,
That was
but
just
the judge is here though.
You got crossed off.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, for the security, yeah, that was supposed to get crossed off. I'm just here about the
Oh,
RFPs.
Okay.
no, okay.
John?
I'm on?
Yeah.
Oh,
What do we have?
I really didn't come intending to talk, I was just waiting to see if they were gonna
Yeah, I know.
make a decision on the court stuff.
not Kay.
No.
Well,
Oh, she's not coming, right?
Yeah,
So
the
Tammy
marshal's not
Johnson is
coming.
not, she'll be here at the April meeting, cause,
Okay, K is,
due to weather, yes.
okay, I got you.
so we're just skipping that.
Shortens your meeting
I
by
want
a
some
lot.
help. Where was
Summer help for,
Okay, summer help, I guess I am asking for 3 to 4, summer help, I think, in the past, I think we've had 2 or 3 of that, from what I've been told, and I know sounds like the county gets like, or not the county, but the city gets like 18, from what I heard in the past. So I would like to give.
but they got the guys that gotta hold the shovels up.
So I guess I'm requesting, 3 to 4, and that, I know, maintenance.
Your own self-standing shovel's good.
I was thinking about inventing a shovel with a pillow on it.
maintenance would, definitely need someone, I believe they used one of the, summer help people at Trails End before, too, from what Shar had said, and I believe the lady is working somewhere else now.
Kelly, yeah, no.
Is it something that has to go through personnel, or because it's a temporary summer help?
What's budgeted?
Right, if it's over with the budgeted amount, I would say yes.
So there's $19,500 budgeted for summer help.
How much?
$19,500.
I believe, so I don't believe I think last year they only used like half of that maybe, is that correct, Jamie, I guess?
I don't have your 12 month in front of me.
I don't have nothing in front of me here.
Yeah, that's your budget to monitor, so.
At 12 and a half an hour, roughly?
12.50,
yes.
Do they usually work a 40-hour week then during the summertime? And how long is the general summer help here for?
That I don't know, yeah, so how long are they here for, the summer help?
So they go back to school.
2 to 3 months probably.
From the time school drops to the time they go back.
3 months.
3 months.
Roughly 3 months.
You want 3 or 4, you said?
Yeah, I was requesting 3 to 4, just because I know Trails End's gonna need one, probably full-time out there. And then from what, cause I think the other lady was out there full-time in the years past.
I don't think she was full-time.
Well, not full-time, but she was out there.
I think she did a lot of work out there.
Correct.
Make the motion up to 4.
Well, hold on, there's not enough in the budget for 4.
Enough for 3 then?
If I take there'd be enough for 3. There's 19,500 budgeted in there. If I figure they work for 3 months at 38.75 hours per week, there would be.
Like 13 weeks and 3 people. Right, make the motion up to 3, that's what's budgeted.
Up to the 19,500 amount.
Within existing budget.
Top dollar here.
Alright, motion to hire, approve 3, is there a second for that?
No second.
Second by Bill. Any other discussion on it? Who's gonna, how are they going to hire them? Are they gonna
They
be?
did 2 in the past.
Send open applications or what?
When I started, that was like the last one.
2. So.
I'll hope at least one.
I need to do safe, yes.
It's been posted that way, they only got.
Oh.
Are they gonna advertise for the people
Yeah,
in the
yep.
paper or what?
Yeah. Well, the website,
Website, okay.
like we do for the fair intern.
I know it's a big road.
Okay,
Get 1 or 2 people.
that's the motion made and seconded. To hire 3 people for summer help.
Is there I'm sorry, is there an age limit, for that? I guess I don't know the rules to that.
Is it
It'd probably be within the posting, like the
Yeah,
job description.
Just have to find the job description.
Yeah, assume 16.
All those in favor, signify by aye.
Right.
Any opposed?
Oh.
No opposition, motion carries. Alright, maintenance department uniforms. Mary asked me about that. And I said, fine, pending the committee's approval. So, you wanna give it a breakdown on it?
It'd be roughly, yes, it's gonna be roughly $4,000 for the year. And I had talked to Shar about it, I believe we have it in the budget, but we would like to have a separate line item for it if we could. And that, just so it's always in there.
That's the first I've heard about that. There's a contracted services line already within your budget. For Cintas, is that?
This should be a contracted uniform, where they can do the laundry on them every week.
Correct, you get 11 sets, regular, actually, I'm sorry. So it would be, the cost would be $11.49 per person. You get 11 shirts, 11 jeans. And that, so the cost per person would be $597.48 a year per person. I just times that by 6, which is, $3,584.88. I just used a rough number of $4,000 a year to ask you for.
Well, there is a contracted services line item already, I guess I don't, and you said you have money budgeted for it already?
I don't think we have money budgeted in there, but I think we could fit it in the budget, I'm just hoping for.
Yeah, I guess I don't see the need for a separate budget line for it, I mean, I think it can go under that contracted services line, because you'll be able to just run a detailed report to see what all makes up that balance.
Is there anything else that gets charged to that line item?
The CETES, and I think that the shred away is going to also go to that, but, you have the ability to run a detailed ledger and be able to pull out those.
Any more discussion on that? Motion approved.
Are you gonna have enough money in the contracted services line for that this year? Or is it gonna put you over?
I would hope so, I don't have the budget in front of me.
That would be the question, is if it's gonna put over.
I guess that's why we were asking for a separate line item for it.
If
You're looking for more money in the budget, how is it through
finance committee for the next budgeting process.
Or say it would be in your budget.
If you can do it within your current budget,
Should be,
That's what he's saying.
there's enough money in the contracted services line to do that along with the other stuff that he does.
Is the department a lot of guidance last meeting?
yes.
I want this.
I just foresee this coming down the line where each department's gonna want uniforms.
I will tell you right now, if you approve this, forestry will want uniforms.
Yeah. And then from forestry, I know we're up to another department, to another department, to another department. Now we're adding.
Highway,
Highway's got,
No, we don't. We only have it for the maintenance.
Or for the mechanics.
Mechanics only.
highway department,
It's gonna jump down the line if we start doing it. I mean, we did it out there for maintenance just cause they're in the grease every day.
right, yeah, and most mechanics, right.
Which is the same deal with us. Some days you don't have grease, other days you load it.
Well, if it can be handled within their budgets.
yeah, but
But when we start cutting the budget, we do that.
Well, then they lose it.
Once they get something, they never lose it.
you're
Good point, I would agree.
forestry have their own budget, but they generate all kinds of money. They can hide that easy.
Yeah.
So,
I,
they can hide a lot of stuff. Used to hide their damn paint in there.
Let's stay on topic here.
All used to be pretty shrewd. Okay, approve it or you want, approve it, not approve it, what do you wanna do?
is anybody making a motion?
If you wanna make a motion.
I'm not making a motion, I'm just asking if anybody is, if not, we should move on.
His budget.
I'll make the motion.
For a second.
Well, like Jerry said, it would be starting something that,
It's a benefit to them, I know that.
I can see a reason why at times they would need it if they're working on stuff that, their clothes get dirty and that sort of stuff.
I know when we did it at Highway, we talked with them and instead of the raise, they took the uniform benefit.
Okay.
That was the way we dealt with it out there, cause it was the whole department wanted it. But they, instead of taking their yearly raise or whatever, they got the make up for it. They had to pay for, they have to pay for that benefit. Cause they were paying for it before themselves, the maintenance people were. And then we decided to pay for it out of our budget, but it came to a benefit in their package for them to do it. How we dealt with it out there. It's a $500 a year benefit, when you think of,
Well, you said $600.
yeah, per person, so I mean, it's, we can't just approve it out of a budget, cause I don't think, basically giving them $500 raise a year.
That's true.
I think you'd have to run that by finance before you.
And I'm not saying they don't deserve that raise, but we do gotta balance the budget, and if we, $2,000 here, $2,000 there. we just
And you
haven't
got,
got anything.
you got real money.
If you do it for one department, then they're all gonna want, and
Yeah.
now you're talking instead of 4,000, you're $10, $20, $30,000 a year for uniforms for county. Is it a benefit to them?
Does anybody make a second?
Right?
Let's leave it alone, it is what it is, yeah.
Alright. Motion was made and not seconded, so die for lack of a second, how's that? Alright, out of county travel, what we got?
I have a airport conference, coming up April 12th through the 13th, I was wondering if you want me to go to that or not, I just actually printed it off here, it's, gonna be roughly $150, probably around, just under $300.
Where's that at?
Wisconsin Rapids.
I will move to approve.
I'll second.
Here's the, just got the flyer, I didn't get to fill out the out of travel, form there, but if you guys can sign it, I guess.
Can I remember signing,
This is out of county,
Yeah.
what,
What is it, Gary?
12th and 13th,
The
April?
April 12th to 13th.
Okay, we had a motion made by staff, so who made it? Someone made the motion.
Yeah, I did.
No, did not. Did you hear
I was
that?
giving them time to think about who made it.
Anybody with more discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Order for snow removal.
Well, I just threw that in there, it's just, I guess up for discussion, I guess, I've heard in the last couple months that, a few people were disappointed that, snow removal will cost so much, I guess, so I just, threw in the price of a loader, that's what we need to do it ourselves. And then we'd have to use the highway department, dump trucks to haul it away.
Right now, we have a contracted through Thompson's.
For Thompson's, yeah. Yeah, but that's, you know, that's not an every year thing either. It's,
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that, you know, a loader, to get a loader, you're talking, you know, $200,000 or more. I mean,
I don't go that route,
yeah.
not at this point.
That's, he got his result, here's what it's gonna cost, if you really want it, here's the cost.
No, I just wanted you to compare apples to apples, I mean.
Yeah, no, I
like
appreciate
the
that.
renting cost, I mean, I know it sounds high, you know, I mean, to get somebody to do it, but it is what it is, it's a cost that needs to be paid.
Alright.
Got a mower trade purchase, what's that?
More trade purchase, I would like, we have 2 zero-turns, I believe, they're, one's 17 years old, one's 21 years old, I think. And then there's, I think, 2 of them that are around, I think 10 years old or so. There's one that's a couple years old, but, we have 5 total, but, all 5 get used.
You're looking to replace the 17-year-old one?
The 17-year-old one is actually the John Deere, which is it's a very good machine, and so I'd like to keep that one, but I'd like to, 1 or 2, to be honest with you, I don't know how much we're gonna get in trade, to be honest with you, so you might be better off just to sell it outright. But, possibility to buy 1 zero-turn, and I don't know, Jerry, you might know a little better, but, I would say a commercial 60 or 72 is probably, you know, $12,000, I guess, you know.
You're in that 910.
Well, last year I think it was forestry, yeah.
We got one not long ago, forestry.
in the prices at all yet, I was just trying to get your approval first before I did, but I figured around $10,000 or $12,000, so.
Well, why don't you get a couple prices on different outfits?
Do you have a budget lead out amount of, equipment, or
We do have a line item for equipment.
is that where you're looking to spend it out of?
It's where I would probably, it would come out of, but I doubt if we have, I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to go over.
Are you looking at two of them, you said?
Well, potential of two of them, but, I mean, one would be fine, you know. The next item there, to be honest with you, I would hold off on, a zero turn, if we get a bat wing for the tractor we have, the boomer tractor that we have. I was looking at a 12-foot, bat wing, finish more, which would work great for out at the fairgrounds, because otherwise you got, 3 zero turns going out at the fairgrounds constantly, when basically you could have that bat wing going.
So you did the bat wing instead of the other one, then, huh?
Correct. For at the fairgrounds, because it's just a bigger area to mow. We have that bat wing on at the airport, it works great, but we can't take that anywhere else.
Yeah.
How much is a bat?
I got a quote back in, I think it was November, 12-foot one was just under $21,000. That was November.
Don't you have a 20-foot one now?
I believe it's an 18-foot one for the one at the airport.
Right, what do you want this one for? Fairgrounds?
For pretty much the fairgrounds, yeah.
That tractor right there going to run.
Yeah.
How many horses?
I actually got a price for a 12-footer and a 15-footer, and our tractor would run the 15-footer, but it would probably bog it down pretty bad, so that's why.
How many horses is the tractor?
45.
That works enough.
Yes, if you were gonna purchase this, I would look to see what budget you're gonna take out of, if you're gonna go over on a budget, that one might be okay. As a budget, is there to kind of prioritize what you think is the best use of.
That's what I'm just asking. I will look into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find.
I was just asking, maybe, just to get, you guys said no right away?
I'm not a no, let's see what you can get out of it, and I'm sure that once you look, I'm sure it'll be in that price range, but I guess the biggest thing.
They used to have a 12-footer.
Yeah.
They sold it. It was Tony's guy. Yeah, sold it to Tony.
So I think a bat wing, you're replacing almost 2 lawnmowers just with that one mower.
Well, so, a lot more ground. A lot more ground.
So I would, make the motion to have him look into the bat wing mower instead of a zero turn.
You think that's a better thing, you said the bat wing would be better for you?
I would definitely rather have the bat wing, just to be more useful.
Okay, we got a motion with Jerry. To look into the bat wing, you
I'll second.
second it? Anybody got any more discussion on it?
That's just looking into it right now.
You can price, kid prices. Yeah, what brand, do you have any particular brand in mind?
Woods.
See, the one we had before was Lamprey. But that's the one that's the airport too, isn't it?
I do not know.
Lamprey?
I do not know the brand.
Yeah.
I just got a price back in November from Seversky, and they gave me a wood, just because the last airport conference I was at, that's where I got it from. They're out there.
Okay, we had a motion made, seconded. Vote on that wing board. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Where's the vote on the bill?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion questions, discussions on it? You all looked at them, of course? Huh?
What is the Carolyn Martin one for $7,000?
That's for public.
Yeah, she's got admin, you know, admin balance hanging out there. It's just drawing down on that.
What else, replace the jail shower? What do you keep tearing out?
I think that was the one that was approved.
I know, but I'm just saying, to replace the shower too, man. We have to.
I think that was having to put that drain in, the shower in the jail.
Yeah, that was in that holding zone.
They had to, yeah. put a whole-
Fix it correctly, because it was leaking.
Facility.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, motion made, second, paid the bills. All in favor, signify by aye. What's formality? I don't know what happened. Huh?
Slap some
Who
lights.
wants these?
Me.
Okay. Okay, we're into the hospital transition update.
So Gary and I are slated to do the first of two final walkthroughs at Marshfield on March 24th. We'll go through with their administrative staff and maintenance department to go over what Marshfield is gonna leave behind, and if we wanna take anything, we can do that, otherwise they're responsible for disposing of it. And then Rich and I are working on, getting a meeting with administration to talk about other legal things. Yep.
We, did we need to talk about shutting off utilities again?
We already took care of that last meeting, well, no problems with the insurance, so.
You look, Pavlik had some concerns.
Our insurance agent did not.
Yeah, he called me about it.
Well, I would just give him a call and see what his concerns are, to see issues, you know, if we have more information.
It was related to fire suppression, right?
No, it was related to not having doors barricaded, not having ways for somebody to enter the building with the fire suppression down.
I mean, we will lock up the building.
And you can guarantee there's no access in there. That was his concern.
And the insurance company said that it was not a concern there, so I think that that's what I was directed to look into at the last meeting.
The utilities won't be shut off till after the RFP comes back.
You made the motion to shut the utilities off May 1st.
Great. And, the RFP should be back by then, right? We could, the first course, like if we get a bid and we accept it, we probably don't wanna shut the utilities off at that point.
It's up to you.
For what? What was that?
If we had an RFP, if somebody wanted to buy the building,
Yeah,
and they wanted the utilities left on, I would say we probably won't wanna shut off the utilities at that point.
well, it's easy enough to turn it back on.
That would be their responsibility.
I mean,
if they wanna put the utilities in, they would pay for it.
There's not gonna be any, I don't.
Yeah, I'm just concerned like something's gonna go wrong, the building's gonna get destroyed, and then, and maybe I'm just overly.
That's why we have insurance.
If it's locked up,
I suppose, and the insurance company doesn't have any concerns, so.
Well, in that email, the insurance company said that if the building is sitting vacant for 60 days or more, we wouldn't be covered for any sort of water damage, so I think that it's in our best interest to shut off the utilities so that it limits the risk of water damage or.
We're not shut off, we're not covered if it sits empty. Even if we got the utilities on.
Correct.
it's
If
vacant.
it's vacant.
Could've-
So I think it's in our best interest to shut off the
Right, you shut
utilities.
off the
Right.
water, yeah, okay.
Because if you had a pipe bust, nobody went in the building for 30 days to have a look. You could have a hell of a lot of damage done.
They recommend brand new boilers,
Yeah.
or we sell them, or, but there's a certain way to shut them down.
To bring him in the color
I'll
house.
actually talk to him a little bit more.
I don't know how old they are.
How old are the boilers? You said they're brand new?
They're pretty new, the boilers out there are.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're old, but they're in very good shape.
What
Kyle,
did you-
Kyle took very good care
What
of
do you
them.
do, record them?
They're more like steam boilers.
Yeah.
And then, but, from what I was told is they're very old boilers, but, they're in very good shape.
That are worth quite a bit of money.
Probably.
Okay. Bids for well abandonment, that was regarding Sheldon?
Yes, a tax deed property. So here we go, I have 3. You guys did not approve doing a final groundwater sample, so those bids are for, one company did include that, but just disregard. So the bids are for abandoning 10 monitoring wells and submitting the proper forms to the DNR.
It's actually abandoned, cost to abandon. 10 wells,
10 monitoring wells,
so 10,
10.
$1,000 a piece.
Well, no, so the one on top is for 2,500. And then the middle one is for like, I don't know, 7,000-ish.
Well, it says total of 99.30.
Right, but he included at the top, groundwater sampling, which you guys did not approve. So we'd have to take that cost off. And then the final one is also for 2,500.
What am I looking at?
Second page.
I'm not good at this, but I mean,
This is for the groundwater sampling.
right. Well, that's for sampling?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, groundwater.
That's for Brandon and all 10.
And so the one that Jerry's reading, in my opinion, is the most comprehensive. He talks about how they would, put the like material back on top, so it was like the wells were never there.
Wasn't there interest in buying that property?
That's what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can read it after Jerry does, it's very,
Isn't there interest in buying that property?
yes,
Good riddance.
right.
So you want us to approve this?
To pick which company I should, contract with.
REI is the company? I'll make the motion for REI, 2,500.
For how much?
2,500? What we getting the money for?
Well, that's a good question, because it's a tax deed property.
Come on, tax money.
So when will, you think we'll be able to recover it, we'll sell it?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a tax deed property, then we kinda have to put it to the tax deed expense, because otherwise, we need to track that.
Yeah.
And then when we sell it, otherwise, if we sell it for a profit in excess of what we have for expenses, we have to pay that.
Sure Vernon finds out this is one of the things that we can actually charge back for.
That would be an expense that we should be able to recover, isn't it?
Right. Yep.
To sell the property.
Yep.
I'll second
All right, motion made and seconded to pick REI for 2,500. Abandonment of those wells.
How long have we owned this one for again? Hasn't been quite a while.
Yeah, we got it back in the 90s, I think Rich said like 93
Yeah,
or
our
something.
fair.
Yeah, yep.
Still reading.
Okay, sorry. I'm not done. Sorry. He's like, don't even look at him filling out your too long.
Okay, we got a motion made and seconded, accept REI's bid. 2,500. More discussion? All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, what's this file cabinet purchase for?
Oh, we don't, I think I found some that we can repurpose, so we don't need to cross that off.
Good.
Thank you.
We're all about saving money. Okay, airport.
Airport,
Gary, if I could, Mr. Chair, I'm on here down a little bit further, could I jump ahead, cause I have a meeting at 11.
Let's see, where you at here?
Double B.
Sheriff,
Double B,
Yeah.
double B.
board car replacement. Policy.
I don't know why it's on there, but it's on there, so I have an 11 o'clock appointment, so.
Well, I think it's just been kind of been carried forward every month for.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna discuss it last time, and nobody wanted to discuss it, they said they wanted to wait for budget time.
I think that's what we
I
decided.
mean, I'm good at discussing it.
That's where I thought we were, but it was on there. so-
That's what I thought too, so I saw it too, and I had a question mark.
Okay, I'm just, good, and I appreciate it.
That was like a
Right.
2 minute question to get you out of here.
Thank you.
Hey, everything today was a yes for me, just remember that.
Got it.
Write that down, 100%.
Don't go far, Jeff.
I'm just saying.
What's that?
Don't go far.
It's your-
Yeah.
I'm just saying for Jeff.
All right. Now let's go back to the airport.
alright, back in the airport, I was, that's why I was late this morning. I was out there plowing the runway, main runway. The guys are out there right now, one guy's out there right now touching it up. We have a phone line down out there, it's been down for about 6 weeks now. It's like pulling teeth to get anybody, get it working or get it up to speed. It's like Brightspeed, Charger, CenturyLink, Lumen, all them, they just give you the runaround. I was finally able to get a hold of, Bugs and Neil actually called a few times, I called a few times. I know they did it about a year and a half ago, the same thing. I know Dick Peterson's having the same problem out there, he lives right next to the airport, with his internet and stuff, so our phone line's down, I'm hoping to get it up and running in the next, 2 weeks here. Charter just sent me a email saying it should be, we're gonna actually install 3 new lines on that because we can't get the old ones ported or whatever, CenturyLink or whoever, Lumen or Brightspeed won't give them to us, and that, even though there are numbers, and that, so I'll have to change everything in the database, in the airport database, which I called the VOA, and, they're not comfortable, they're fine with it, but it's just gonna be a lot of work because I'm gonna change it, and then they gotta change it everywhere else. And that, but it's doable, it's just gonna be an issue, it's gonna be an issue, but right now we don't have no fuel there, except for Rance, you get fuel, cause he's got a card or whatever. And then, not a credit card, but a swipe card account, yeah.
Because of the phone line being down?
Supposedly, because the credit card system runs off the phone. And so I've been putting in a note for the last 6 weeks on that, and that it's down. But we're hoping, we've exhausted, all our efforts, and it's just waiting on them other big companies to follow through on what they say. I just talked to, yesterday actually, the VOA project manager there. I guess we had $150,000 for, to buy stuff, and, since, I guess, I knew it was in the budget, I seen it in the budget, but I guess it's from 2019, and I guess we're gonna lose it here shortly. I haven't got a chance to talk to him, but since nobody's used it since 2019, we're probably gonna lose it.
No, what is that for?
It was supposed to be for part of the loader, I think that was out there, but I talked to the guy on Wednesday, and, I haven't got that chance to talk to him yet, with everything going on, but, he said, I asked him about the loader, he said the loader's gonna be fine, they got it finally approved that they can get American made, they gotta buy American made loader or whatever, right? So, we should still be getting a loader, he figured in 2024 sometime.
This has been in the works for what, 3 years?
Yep.
With loader? 5 years?
But the $150,000 that's out there from 2019 is expiring here. I thought he said July of this month. It's only for 4 years.
Is it 250 every year?
I think it's, well,
Or was that at one time?
he told me 150.
It's 150 every,
150 is every year?
yeah, it's supposed to be.
I have to talk to him more on it. Like I said, he just told me, cause I called him about the loader actually, and then he said, you know, you're gonna be losing your $150,000 here because, nobody's used it since 2019.
Well,
Find out what we use it on.
yeah, I
We
mean,
need to make a quick,
you know, we always used it before. Andy was kinda in charge of that all the time.
I got a call and actually talked to his boss, the project manager's boss, and that, just like I said, I haven't got around to it.
Cracks in or something we can do out there with that one?
We can do all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, if I knew we had to spend it, if I knew.
if you'd have known 6 months ago, it'd be easy. Yeah.
Maybe talk to them, see if we got time left.
Put something together.
Put something together for the deadline.
Yeah. We
Do
need,
some cracks.
well, why lose it?
Normally work or even approach us by the head or something.
You wanna throw a heater in my hangar, I'm good with that too. Whatever you need to, just looking for some options, trying to help you out.
I'll talk to that project manager's, boss or whatever. He was supposed to send me his contact info.
you know, information, time's now starting to get short, because if it expires in July.
And then, the fuel master system, they called me a week ago and said it's in and that, but I can't put it in until the phone line gets, hooked up.
They bet $150,000 to be used to start putting in the phone line.
But that's, the phone company's responsible for that.
They're on cable line,
Other than that, we have one hangar that's open. I did get a call from a guy, 3 days ago that, was interested in it. He hasn't called me back. I told him the price and I think he's shopping. He's just shopping, I think, but, Grant Thayer, I called him a while back and he wasn't interested, but he called me a couple days ago and asked me again about it, so I think maybe he's possibly interested in it. And then, I guess I just found this out the other day actually too, is a Mary Big Mountain and, she used to be a pilot or fighter pilot or something, I believe, or something, but, she's doing something with the 4-H or something. I'll give this to you, Phil, you probably know more, but, she's taking some kids to the Oshkosh there or whatever, and that, but, she would probably be a good advocate, I think, for the airport, and being an Air Force pilot. Guess I just wanted to bring that out to you guys' attention. And then I got this.
What are you looking for with it?
Well, I just throwing her name out so you guys know her. I mean, if you didn't know her, I guess sounds like she was an Air Force pilot. She's very,
Where's she at?
she's in the 4-H office.
She's the extension agent.
Oh, so she's in the building here. I should go talk to her.
Right across from the box.
She got the pledge last month.
I think she's
She
taking,
got the Pledge of Allegiance last meeting.
I think she's taking some kids there, and then I think she's reaching out to, tourism. I think she reached out to Andy Strong or whatever, tourism about just.
Oh, yeah.
For some money.
If you guys.
Just money to go there or something.
That's just the annual fly-in.
No, I don't know something in Oshkosh.
Yeah, I'm not asking, requesting anything, I'm just.
Yeah, showing information.
Yeah.
You could post this at the, on the, board at your, I think that's, if he's got any old stuff there. I get stuff in the mail all the time from people, hey, we'll buy your airplane. Hey, the company I bought it from sends me postcards saying that it's time to sell, buy it. Part of that?
Yeah, that was in there, yeah.
It's not real, though, sorry.
Okay,
What money are you talking, what money are you talking about?
we got insurance county cars.
Any questions on, reports? We don't have anything charged yet for 2023, because we just do that quarterly, so.
What's the status on a couple of cars that we're talking about being reviewed?
I was actually gonna bring that up here. I know we suggested we go to Wisconsin surplus or whatever.
Yeah.
Phil Grassman actually, no, you can have it. Phil Grassman actually told me about, Wisconsin auto auction.
Yeah.
They'll actually come right here and pick them up and take them. I haven't had time to do anything with them, especially with the snow. I mean, it's, a lot of them don't start, a lot of them don't run. And then just have them, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of them ain't even worth putting on surplus. I mean, you're just gonna get scrap price. I mean, I would just have the Wisconsin auto auction like Phil told me about, come get them, and then we don't have to deal with them. I mean, it's just, I mean, then there's multiple ones. I think we approved, what, 4 or 5 of them before, I think?
Yeah.
But there's, you know, I mean, I've found probably 3, 4 extra ones just in my travels around all the buildings and the highway shop. I mean, there's 2 of them in the back of the highway shop.
Yeah, them two we're gonna put on the surplus.
Yeah.
We actually got a list of stuff we're gonna get rid of.
When you gonna do
Yeah,
that?
highway has to sell theirs separate, because they have, that goes into their equipment fund.
But them are, their cars back there.
And I think those were, 2 of them were included in the listing. One of them was the old airport courtesy car, and then there was like a red one.
And then there's one in Gates, there's one in Gates, I mean, there's a couple in the parking lot here, there's our old blue truck here that's,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those were all on the list of the ones that you're on the list to sell.
it's been a while since I looked at it, I'll be honest with you, I mean, I was, to be honest with you, I was waiting till the snow was gone, because it's just a fight to work with any of that stuff right now, and like I said, half of them don't even run.
Yeah, you're sitting, they've been sitting there for years.
Correct.
Alright,
How are you going down even more?
But I would like to, Phil uses that service right now with the sheriff's department. I mean, I think that would be, you just call them, you gotta give them the title. That's another thing, is if we definitely need the title and registration.
And then that would be in the clerk's office.
any on insurance update?
No, aside from the hospital.
I have a question on the insurance reports.
Okay.
It said there was no question.
Do you wanna come?
Yes.
Coming out of work,
Yes.
wouldn't that come out of the property owner's insurance, because it would be their dog?
I don't know that this, it was at a home visit. I don't know that,
I still think, I guess.
and that's for the workers' comp. I mean, the insurance companies to battle out too.
I suppose it's right, yeah, okay. I just thought that was.
Yeah, yeah,
'cause
I mean,
always-
there's
It was always my understanding that if I had but I don't have a dog, I have a cat, but if my cat would scratch somebody and they had to go to the hospital, even if it was a postman, as far as I know,
Right.
that it would be my responsibility, my insurance's responsibility to cover that, because it's covered in my insurance, that's part of it, is, you know, if somebody gets hurt on your property. So that's why I just thought it was odd, but I suppose that's what the insurance companies do, is they don't wanna pay if they don't have to, so they fight whatever they need to fight.
Alright, so insurance, LSD, then move down to Mr. Bugby.
Could I interrupt on that one? I have a topic, I guess, that I forgot to bring up.
What?
I have a topic I forgot to bring up,
Oh,
for the building and grounds. Question, since probably Jamie's here, she probably might know a little more. Our steam boilers, they need to be, inspected. And the last I see for inspection is, 10/1/21. I'm gonna call these people up, but, do you have anything on record for that? Char couldn't find anything. Hartford steam boiler.
for what? What boiler is that?
Our boilers down in the our boiler's down in the basement here, and then,
You know, we found some when we were upstairs. Yeah, let me,
okay, and then, I got a note.
the day that snow day, Ashley and I went upstairs, and we were like going through files and stuff, and I was like, this kinda seems like a weird place to have this, but.
And I just got this, I got a notice for the Fritz Avenue boiler, and then, I don't know what building is on 215 Lake Avenue. And that, but it's the same company, I mean, just the permit to operate is expired on 20.
And I think, is that a DSPS permit? Cause I think you can look those up online to see what, yeah, you can look these up on the Department of Safety and Professional Services website to see if you have an active permit or license, I believe. But yeah, I'll go back upstairs and, cause I know we found some in there that we were like,
Why is this here?
yeah.
I asked Tom before he left, and he said Andy took care of all that.
I know there was some of those that we found up there, I can't remember what the dates were on them, but.
And then the elevator, is up for, I think, a month or two here, needs a new permit to operate. But I'll just call our elevator guy.
Yeah, every year or every 2 years or what?
It's annual inspection, yeah. But I don't see, typically, I believe it's supposed to be posted in the elevator, I don't see them, they're not on elevators. But we're still up to date, as of this,
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, now we go back to the, rugby with, Fourth Street Competitor.
Just looking to get some information on different items here. Forestry, they're looking to purchase a new computer. We've got estimates at it anywhere between $1,400 and $1,600, but I'm asking, to get permission up to $2,000, to come out of their equipment fund. But because it's over $1,000, I have to talk to you guys.
But our new policy is 2,500, but it hasn't been approved by the board yet.
Nope, that's down a couple yet. We'll get to that in a minute.
Out of the equipment, you said?
Yeah, it's coming out of forestry equipment.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Let's get the other ones out.
Yeah.
Now, so how much, do you say about 1,500?
Yeah, I'm
We want up to
anticipating.
2,000 to be safe, but it'd be 14 to 1,600.
Yes.
And motion made and seconded, more discussion? Not all in favor by signify by aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have to have a clerk on.
County clerk.
That's Jill, cause she's like
Well, of course it is.
pretty old.
They don't say deputy clerk.
You got it.
It is for Jill.
But I don't have any money, so can you find some for me?
Well, your contingency there.
Here.
But I did talk to Jake.
Well, there's still some of that thin client money,
So IT is what you're saying.
So
like the thin client
please, Jim.
balance.
They definitely do need a laptop. Apparently that's coming out of IT, which I wasn't aware of yet. But,
Is that something you're okay with though, Jim?
yes,
Is the
yeah.
question, because
Cause I just don't have.
I'm okay with that. What they're talking about, that IT fund, or excuse me, that thin client fund, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Same thing too, is I'd ask up to 2,000, I'm guessing it'll probably be under, guesstimation I'd say be around 900, which would actually be underneath, but,
If I have any money, you're welcome to it.
I appreciate that, it's okay. But I'm just asking for permission up to 2,000. Again, I don't.
Make the motion, Jerry?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Anybody else? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, is this one I gotta go to seal bid? Court, how's that?
This is at courtroom number 1, or 2, right?
Number two.
The small courtroom that you guys requested us to get bids on.
What is this,
It was approved by county board already.
It was an ARPA request.
okay, it was a request for approval. You only requested one bid?
That's all that came.
Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
You're smarter than an animal.
Should've had this in the vault. I mean, sure nobody could read through the envelope. Yeah.
You got that?
Okay. First, you bid. Okay. Courtroom 2 upgrades. Now, see, don't say who yet. Audio architects. Well, there's a whole list of stuff on this thing. I'll give you the grand total. $59,753. 53
And that's from where?
from Audio Architects. Triple Falls. It's got all the stuff listed here, it's a whole.
I believe it was approved for ARPA request. I don't know what the dollar amount was.
Was that the courtroom sound system?
Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
It's a courtroom sound system.
No, courtroom, yeah.
I think it's down below on that.
$63,421.54 was what was
How much?
That is, okay, I got you.
$63,421.54, but that included, oh no, this is just the additional ones, so yeah.
And I think Bunks has purchased, a few items too. And you'll have some, IT will have some time into it.
53.
53? 973 or something?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, you said Moses got some items for that.
Yeah, so that's 62,000 that she's talking about. That also includes the items that we would have to purchase to finish it off, as well as also,
You're not gonna go over that with what you had purchased?
no, we should be coming under that number too.
This is not an ARPA fund, right?
Yeah, I think that's what
It's already been approved. So are you approving the bid?
Yeah, motion made and seconded.
Seconded by who? Alex, by Al.
Why not?
He wants to spend money today.
Approved.
Any discussion on it? Not all those in favor signify by aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, update in finance policy.
Actually, can I get that paperwork? You guys are done looking at it?
Go ahead.
All we're gonna do is forward it to current finance anyway,
You
right?
already looked at it, right?
Yes, okay, $5. That's $53. That updating finance laws, we're just gonna forward it to the finance,
Yes, I do have it on the
Committee?
agenda for the finance committee. Yeah, so the changes that Jim and I worked on together was, what we had outlined last time, changing the $1,000 threshold to 2,500. And then, it previously read, no used equipment shall be traded in, disposed of, or sold without property committee approval. And we added, with the exception of obsolete or damaged beyond repair electronics as determined by the IT department. So when there's computers that are junk, Jim doesn't have to bring those here, he can just dispose of those. And then the last sentence previously read, from the sold property, funds from the sold property shall be evaluated and received by the finance department. And we just added or approved by the property committee, because if it's like cell phones, like somebody leaves and their cell phone is old where we'd wanna replace it before giving it to somebody else anyway, something that would come here and once you guys approve it, it doesn't really have to go
No, we,
through us because it's already been documented in minutes where that money should go.
You have to, you just have to go before the full county board though.
For the we'd have to update the financial procedures manual at that.
Procedures manual and everything.
Yeah.
So it'll go from here to finance, then finance gotta forward it on the top board. You need a motion for this, or?
We're just looking for any feedback too, just if you guys had any opinions, anything else like that. I know we discussed it last time, but that's kind of where we came up with the $2,500.
Yeah,
Everything's like that.
I agree with the, obsolete damage, like you mentioned last time. 2,500, I'm still in question. I think last time, Jerry brought up that,
It's a pretty big jump.
the people before had money in their budgets and suddenly we got new couches and chairs and everything else showing up that's the, yeah, that'd be the concern about making it that big.
Stuff they didn't really need.
Yeah, the reason we picked the 2,500, cause like if you look at that guidelines for quotes, that was the guideline, where they'd have to have quotes. So that's why we went with the 2,500, but, I mean, I don't think we're not set completely on that 2,500, we were kind of.
The reason we went away from it was because, they could go ahead and purchase stuff without department approval. So,
But the
you
people
more
that-
than doubled the amount that they can go ahead and purchase without approval, prior approval.
Well, sometimes they just go purchase it without approval anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they buy it and then they
It
come.
should be,
You
there's a problem, there's been no repercussions for that, there's supposed to be.
Right.
Well, I don't care, it's a letter of reprimand or whatever.
There should be.
There should be something. What's the point in having a policy if you're not gonna live up to it?
I agree. Policies are there to be followed.
Huh?
Policies are there to be followed.
Right.
If I don't follow policies at my workplace, I get fired. Probably not the first time, but.
I'm sure it don't matter what department that is.
What do you do when it's an elected official that does that stuff? I'm not talking about you, don't worry. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, so first of all, we gotta decide it's 2,500 the level we want. And then there's gonna be some language stuck into that.
Well, I'm for sure okay with the exception of obsolete damaged electronics.
2,500 is okay?
2,500, I don't know.
It's not.
What do you want? Come on, time's wasted, Jerry's in a mood to go.
Gary, what do you think?
I can make just an example for the maintenance shop or whatever. I was gonna ask you guys this, right now, it's probably a junk management question, but, two of the Resners out there at, the Merritt building out there, are blower motors out of it. The blower motor, each blower motor is like $1,300, and then you're gonna have the labor in that. So, I mean, it ties my hands up getting some of that stuff fixed. I mean, 2,500 would be great for me.
Yeah, but that's maintenance, that's not
And it's,
outright purchasing stuff that.
and it's not something that you're gonna just go out and buy a motor and do it.
Right.
I mean, a computer or laptop, somebody could say, well, I want a new laptop, and I can spend up to $2,500 for a laptop.
Or a bunch of chairs.
What I'm saying is, there's a lot of different,
Yeah.
a lot of difference if you wanna call it
What
that.
you're talking about is maintenance.
And I get it, the 2,500 would be great for me. I mean, even a little less would be great, I mean.
You can always call Tony and get.
There's never been a problem anyway, anytime, I mean, Jeremy called me, he had $1,900 on that, cooler out there at the senior center.
cause I did
And he's
it.
fixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it right away.
Great work, Miss Minky.
I'm the one who did it, we never got approval.
Well, I gave,
He did, because he
I thought I
called
gave,
for approval.
Jeremy approval.
So that's one way, if emergencies come up here,
Yeah, it's not-
all
It's
the
never
sheriff
been a
had
big
to get
problem.
temporary approval until it's officially approved.
Yeah, stuff like that where it's necessary and needed, then you gotta do it.
I hate to see us go to 2,500.
Okay, so how about 1,500?
I'd say 15 maybe, maybe allowing for increased costs of, software
They're
and
still
whatever.
gonna, they're still gonna get abused no matter what.
It can be $500.
I guess just to kind of ease a little bit for Tony here, is when somebody says, hey, we need a new computer or something like that, we don't just buy it just because they want it. We make sure that they either need it or what is the reason for it, and if they've got one that doesn't work for their particular issue, and we can use it somewhere else, we do that.
I understand that, but well, I guess where I'm coming from is that policy was, I'm not referring to a computer now, but that policy was severely abused in December. When there was leftover money. And you had all kinds of coffee supplies and whatever else, chairs, you name it.
Window shades, I think.
Well, that was for a whole room though, right?
What?
That was to make a whole room though. I mean,
Those expenses happen every year.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been done that way, but
It's
as far as
not.
what they spent it
That's
on,
right.
as far as what they spent it on, I guess I would.
That's why, that's where I'm coming from, that stuff shouldn't be happening.
I agree.
Right, but that wouldn't have mattered if it was, the policy was not followed at that point.
I'm sure it's all right.
And that was, the problem was the policy wasn't followed, not the dollar amount on that one, I
It
guess.
was actually both.
I guess I would just ask that if there's a problem with an individual person, don't penalize the rest of us, or please don't penalize the rest of us. Because we're following the policy, and we're sticking to it, and when we think there needs to be a change, we're bringing it to you guys to get your opinions on it and asking for permission. If there is somebody that's abusing it, and it sounds like something happened in December, then, obviously that needs to be dealt with, and I agree that the policy's there, we need to follow it, otherwise, what good? I mean, otherwise I can just keep skipping, asking you guys and just buy it, and that's not fair.
To raise it to 1,500, most of your laptops are under that.
Most of them are, yes.
So, I mean, if you have a laptop that's got a particular requirement, say, it's gonna be 1,800 or 2,000, I don't think you're gonna find anybody hardball against it, as far as the property, but it's just nice to be aware of it. And besides, I mean, it's easier to keep, the policy in force. And prevent somebody else from just willy-nilly going out and ordering something, because I think they need one. That's all.
Well, plain devil's advocate on this, I think the 1,000 has to be raised because, in a way, you're micromanaging the departments and everything, and I think there should be, with costs and everything rising, if they're going out there and spending, say there was 2,500, and they're loading up at the end of the year, then a little chat with the department head should be approving these things before it goes. And if we're going to require every little thing to come through us like it is now, I think it eliminates some of that for us, and I don't want to be micromanaging every little thing for the department heads, and if they're running around buying chairs and desks and tables or whatever you're talking about, I think that also rests on the department head. And that should be approved there before they, and if they're saying.
Or does do an approval?
What?
Or if the department head's the one doing the buying.
That's okay.
If you give them permission, it is, yeah.
If it's in their budget and it's something needed, if it's being overused,
Well, see,
then it should be a crackdown.
that would be the issue, is sometimes.
It is the issue.
They had money available from a grant and they wanted to spend it. You know what I'm talking about. And, I'd rather turn that money back. If you don't have a practical plan for it.
Yeah, I think that person was just misdirected. think sometimes department heads do save up until the end of the year to see if the money needs to be used somewhere else first, to be responsible about it too, so I'm not, I guess I'm not putting somebody up over, wait until the end of the year to buy something with the grant money.
At the same time,
As far as following procedure, I would, but not as far as wait until the end of the year to use your grant money, I think that's rather wise actually.
if you wait till the end of the year to buy something, just because you wanna see if there's gonna be enough money, that's not justification to buy something. Because you got along with it all year long. If you're gonna be able to justify purchasing something like that, then it ought to be budgeted. If you're not gonna use it in your budget, then why even have the ability to get it?
Well, the grant money, if you don't use it by the end of the year, you use it. So some departments, rather than just spending it and then they're out of money, they wait till the end of the year to make sure that all their other bases are covered first. So I guess in that case, I'm not arguing, as far as following procedures, yes, we should always follow the procedures.
Grant money is generally specific.
Yeah, it is.
And this policy has to cover, you're focusing on grants, it's gotta cover the other stuff too, it's gotta cover everything, not just grant.
Well, I don't object to raising it. I don't know if we need 2,500, I just don't.
Can I throw another thing in there too? I don't know if it's an official policy or if it was just a memo that went out one year at a time. You know, you guys talk about in December, all this furniture and stuff that was purchased. It's my understanding that anything like that would have to go through, at the time it would have been Mike Natchez, you know, but it would have to go through maintenance because they're the ones that know what we have. You know, maybe it's in a different building, maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
This was this last December that we're talking about.
It was, that's a fact. It was always supposed to go through the maintenance department first, any purchase of furnishing, any furniture and things like that.
Is there any policy on it? Same thing too, is anytime there was, you know, an IT related thing, it had to go through us. But we found people that sidestep it, you know, and then when they have a problem, then we find out like, oh, when did you get that equipment? We didn't know anything about it, you know, but, you know, if that's a policy, then obviously it needs to be followed, and so Gary may know where X is, you know, or like, they were talking about a file cabinet earlier. You know, I already took care of that, but I'm sure Gary knows, you know, if we've got any extras anywhere, you know, which ones we've got, different things like that.
Yeah, we did that quite a few years ago, and
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
We did it a long time ago. That's been enforced for quite a few years about the furniture.
One department went and bought new stuff, and they had new stuff in another building.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's why all the furniture and everything is supposed to be under the purview of the maintenance department, because they keep track, we're supposed to keep track of all that stuff.
We kinda cleaned house on.
I know, but you asked about cleaning out, cause some of the stuff has been sitting there for years, and I understand that. But you still have some good usable stuff that's in storage, and if somebody needs something, they need to come and ask you first if you got something.
They did though. They did ask.
And so then you can move on from there.
How do we feel about $1,500?
I'm not,
I'll make the
go along
motion,
with
$1,500.
Huh?
1,500, and then we keep the rest of the new changes with wordage, with the exception of obsolete or damage beyond repair electronics as determined by the IT department, and the other change.
You're gonna make that all one motion?
Property committee. But yeah, I'll make that in a motion as written here, other than change the 25 to 1,500.
Seconded.
Alright. Motion's made and seconded to raise up financial limit to 1,500 for purchases. And, updating the financial policy and this, funds from sale of used property.
Does this
Any
have to
more
go,
discussion?
does this have to go to finance then?
Just go forward with the finance and not, eventually afterward come to board. Or is this to forward it to finance?
You updated all this.
Yeah, updating all of it. So is there any discussion on it? More? If not, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alright, now, in the back here. And Jim Bugbee, highway camera system.
Yeah,
they're looking to add another camera to their current system that they have. The first request that we received was over $3,000. I thought that was high. I contacted them and told them to rework a couple things. Plus we were able to, they had like $300 some odd in tax there. Obviously we're not paying that. They had like another $376 for a scissor lift. Highway's got a scissor lift that they can use. And that eliminated that. So we're trying to work with that company to get it to what I would say is a more reasonable number. But I'm asking for permission to add to their current system up to $3,000 again as a ceiling.
We're just. How many cameras is that, or what is it? One camera?
It's one camera with several lenses in it.
Oh.
And so what it's for is mainly to, directions, it'll be more for, west and southwest a little bit, right by where the state, salt shed is, where their salt, piles are as well. And then also it'll catch another, it's not really a road, but you know, a path that they use, you know, and stuff like that. So it's so that they can have, access to that to make sure that there's, you know, nothing going on, or apparently salt theft is an issue, I don't know. But that's kind of what they're looking to cover there. Well, that's what they're concentrating on, so I'm assuming that should be it. I mean, I can ask Andy, Andy's the one that asked me to.
I guess I haven't had much, just put cameras up, just to try to cover every inch of everything. Cause I mean, you can chase yourself around putting the cameras all over the place. If it's not an issue, and they don't think it's gonna be an issue, I don't know if we just put one in, just put one in.
I guess the way I was looking at it too is when they brought it to me, they just asked for one camera. You know, I think if they were trying to just dust the whole area.
Yeah, well, that's how it starts, one camera, and the next month it's another camera.
What budget is this coming from?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This would be highway equipment, I'm sorry.
Highway equipment?
Yes. Together.
Huh?
Oh, it's starting to get a rise. For a second, I thought you were serious.
All right, anybody got any discussion on it? Somebody got a motion on it? Got a motion? Motion by Jerry, got a second? I'll second. Second by Jerry. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by aye. Any opposed, motion carries.
No.
Is that all? Are we done? Look at the bottom of the page. Any motion to adjourn?
Gary wants one more.
I have one quick question. Since
You're over your questions, I heard you didn't wanna finish those.
Since it's only $1,500 now, this might be a joint management question, but that, there are two residents that are out.
Yeah.
With two brand new ones, I just got a quote, yesterday, it was around $16,079. But it's just the blower motors that are out of them. The blower motors are around $1,300 plus labor, so I know it's gonna be over $1,500.
Well, I think we can handle that though. We'll deal with it.
That would be probably called Tony. This policy is not in effect until after finance next week. So as a.
County board.
And county board, yeah. But I think it has to go through finance and county board.
Right.
Because it's a financial policy.
So do you think I should just go ahead and get the compressor motors coming, or you want me to bring it up and join that safety gun management?
Well, for you to be done, I mean, they're gonna do it anyway. They've got all these covers they're gonna put on the docks, and you're hollering about all these buildings that need upgrading and repair, and it's been going through. You know, and you gotta maintain the stuff.
I just wanted to give you a comparison, that the repair is $1,500 and the new one is $16.
See, the thing I don't care about much about this joint management arrangement.
Joint management stuff, do you need to contact the city at all for that type of stuff?
Well,
Should
the
they have a
county's responsible for all
maintenance
the
guy at
damn.
all, or?
Gary is the
Why would
maintenance
we
guy
get-
under me.
Why would you compensate for that?
I know. That's what I gotta get out of
Okay.
When you're starting your income tax, Connie.
Okay, adjourning,
We are adjourning.
second.
11:20. Your computer dropped. Finally, something I can do.
David, you say you like raffles.
I like what?